Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Jadi, nanti sih ya, Sarah. Nanti ya, Sarah.
Page 3, please. Page 3.
Soje Junanda, Janjo Pada Dame Jasam Chi, Lage Jinso Jive Sonam Chi, Ula Pinche Sanje Dropa, Sanje Chudang Soje Junanda, Janjo Pada Dame Jasam Chi, Lage Jinso Jive Rola Penja Sanjian Dropa Sho.
In the Buddha, the Dharma,
The Sangha as is excellent, meditation to the speech. Merit and generous in other good deeds. May I attain Buddhahood for the sake of sentient beings. Namkada nyambe simje damje dewada devi joda tempa churje dunga dang dunga che joda trawa churje dunga mebe dewada medrawa churje Nyere chada nyeda travi tanyo da ne bar churje Namkada nyambe semche tamche dewada deve judan tempa churche dunga dang dunga che judan chawara churche dunga mebe dewada medawa churche nyere chada nida trevi tanyum la ne para churche
may all other sentient beings,
Fathers in the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from the suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from source. May they rest the equanimity that free from attachment and virtue. Delo naroda mameda po padren jidingo kare sumde tsawe lame sha laje lama yedan chuson la so ande so da je chin je lo
I beseech the Preliminaries.
Telopa naropa Lareba Gambopa Namotrapa Darjeti Sumpon at the figure of the road Guru, who possess the three ways of the kindness of all the root gurus and spiritual master of the lineage, the Yadams and the Dharma protectors. May your fathers blessings and enlightenment. Chuje Shapada, Jesus Yeran Korshen Sorvaye, Ewa Chunse Dake Chisapa, Tamche Zope Chancho Chirmu. Whatever merit I have gathered through the positions, offering, confession, rejoicing, recording, and present. For the sake of the enlightenment of all sentient beings, all these are dedicated. So, my meda, ada medal matok pada songshana.
Om
Om Gaga Ganga Tanzania Daga Dama Yara Yara Shasa Soma Yedama Heda Baba Heden Degen Tadaga Hayavada Degen Zayo Niroda Evam Bat Mahashirmana Yesu A e o re re li e o ang a ka 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 nga za za zan za nya ra 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 na da 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 na pa 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 ma ya ra la va kya ka sa Om Yeda Maheda Baba Heden Degen Dadangat Hayo Vada Degen Zayo Niroda Evambat Mahashirmana Yesova A A E O R o ang a ka 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 nga za 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 nya ra 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 na da 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 na pa 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 ma ya ra la wa sha ka sa cha so bu om ye da ma he de pa pa wa he de de ge da da ga ayo wa de de ge za yo ni ro da om ba ma shi ma na ye so wa Asado samaya manapalaya Pentra sado tino pa Teja dendro me bawa Sudakayo me bawa Subakayo me bawa Anarato me bawa Sarva siddhi me bayat Sawakama sutame Tadashaya kuroho Ha 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 ho bangavin Sawadada gada beja mamemet beja bama samaya sato Rasado samaya manapalaya pentrasado tenoba Teda dendro me bawa sudakayo me bawa sobakayo me bawa anarato me bawa sawa siddhi me payata sawa kama sutame Zedang sheyang kuru hong ha 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 ho bangavin Sawadada gada bejrama memet bejaba mahasamaya sato a Sambara sambara bhamana sarama jambaho Sambara sambara bhamana jambaho Om Sambara Sambara Bhumana Sarama Zambaho 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 Mara Mara Bhumana Karama Zambaho Om 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 Mara Mara Bhumana Karama Zambaho Mara Sambara Bhumana Zambaho Om Sambara Sambara Mahazambaho Om Sambara Sambara Mahazambaho Om Sambara Sambara Mahazambaho Om Sambara Sambara Mahazamba Hom Pe. Om Sambara Sambara Mahazamba Hom Pe. Om Sambara Sambara Mahazamba Hom Pe. Pavadaya Hom Pe. Om Rajaramane Pavadaya Hom Pe. Om Rajaramane Pavadaya Hom Pe. Om Rajaramane Parvataya 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 Hom Pe. Pemanadeshwara Hom Om Shri 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 Pemanadeshwara Hom Om Ahong, Om Ahong, Om Ahong, Om Ahong, Om Ahong. Om Ahong, Om Ahong. Om Ahong, Om Ahong, Om Ahong. Namajino, Namajino, Namajino. Je je wo wo do dam je je jo ne pa zo gen de je nga da chen che la ma che che no che la tu je de je wo zhe nam ni je jo ne chen li chen du gan zong je za we la ma che che 见我见着的见你谁谁热血个让人家你姐姐上街热吧足见真见在为了。接受的坚定的这些这些歌，让想象的情节上接着吧，逐渐渐渐在心中接着的坚定的这些。这些歌，让想象的情节上街，都把世界。
Page 13. Essence of the Buddhas of the three times. For those of the holy Dharma of scripture and experience. Master of Sangha, the noble assembly ruled Guru, please think of me. Great treasure of blessing and compassion. Source of the truth, contentment, destroyer of whatever enlightened activity is and desire. Lord Guru, please think of me.
Please send for me. Look upon me from above my home, the God of great grace. Let me see my own awareness, the true face of Dharmakaya, and attempt awareness of one of life. Shibedra Nabara Shibeke Tabada Tam Che Chembe Varda Chubar Cheba Tam Che Je Tor Shib Manam Kadanya Besem Je Tam Che Dewa Da De Tunga Da Tre Nyodalana me payanda paratope chanjurumbo cheto parsha dala damvara chepetra nabara chepeke tarbadan tam che chempara parde chupara shepa tam che je sur shebe manam kadanyam Dam che dewa dan de dunga dan che nhớ đơ la na me pa yang ta para tu pe chan chu rum bo che tho par cha. All other sentient beings, luminous as space, especially those animals who hurt me, obstacles who harm me, and those who created obstacles on my path, liberation and all knowledge needs. May they experience happiness, be free from suffering, and simply will I achieve stage of the past. Perfect, complete, and precious enlightenment. Majeje padalunga yeso gewala ko Mashe padalunga yeso gewala ko Tere ni sonde nyamasa Tan samje padalunga yeso gewala ko I will perform virtuous deed with body, speech, and mind. Under greater, I will perform virtuous deed with body, speech, and mind. From the under this time tomorrow, I will perform virtuous deed and body, speech, and mind. Tare gyame cha chu che kumpa drupte shin du cha.
Now I have found a clear action, which will be difficult to find in my head. I must practice
and attain the stage and surpass enlightenment for the benefit of others. Arjelen de yan chida de jira da we nam jenge ba me da ye da che me da tsun de da. And that the Father, Lord of the dead, may save my precious life, and any times I shall consider the impermanence and others in myself. Anindaka chicha devi kokama chebe sebe dilami yangi debe landejo. True peace and honor mind. I share therefore the primary authority, pleasures in others and Father on the planet.
to make this life of freedom and actions peaceful.
I shall abstain from all
is resulting from my non-activity by three forces. I shall diligently inspiring in cultivating virtues and shall protect my vows and my health and freedom. 24.
Chư đề chư trô yêu tăng la so chê Yê sơ tu sơ san chê chên bê chê Ca sa san chê tôn tăng đinh chê chô Jab de yom chê chê la chê ta Yê đề so ra chê chê rung rô rô Yuan de jiang se ri sa gong po la te sa pa pe gen de por je por tha kur ka do tam che jam so je Trem pon te pa ta wo sa wo chu
Preparing for
The Lord will provide all to the families. The Guru is seated upon the portion of the lotus moon on the precious stone and the center of the vision.
He is surrounded by the assembly of Vajra masters. They belong to the Bhagavad and Chakra together with the host of the identities of the four or six classes of Brahma.
His right are the Buddhas of the three times, armed with the measure and memories, together with the thousand Buddhas of this excellent aeon. Behind the Great Mother, Panchaparamita, and the scout of the Tantra, which naturally surround the Dharma. Through his life are the Bodhisattvas, the protector of the three families, surrounded by the assembly of the three Thakur's Buddha. Surrounded everything is the object also. Together and Nama Jaga Sajita Raja Loka Yuda Tambeche Toje Druga Pandro Gendala Chancho Mata Bada Jasun Ching Ngomo Ngobo Lama Jaga Sajita Raja Loka Yuda Tambeche Toje Druga Pandro Gendala Cha cho ma thơ ba đê cha sư chê Nam mô ngô vô la ma chê cơ san chê ta Ra chê lô cơ yu ta tam bê chê Thơ chê trư cơ khan rô kên đơ la Cha cho ma thơ ba đê cha sư chê
until the 10
I take refuge in the essence, which the Dharma, the Guru, and the Buddha. I take refuge in the pure nature, which is the Samudgaya, the Yidam, and the Dharma. I take refuge in all grace and compassion, which is the Brahmacaya, the darkness and the Sangha. Đô nam kia tha đa nha bia xem chia tham chia lô chư sư đô wa chen chia lập tư sư la chư lam tư đô wa chen chia lập tư sư Lam Trava Sevara Chinchia Labdu Su Trana Ishi Su Chavara Chinchia Labdu Su.
Grant your blessings so that my myself and the sensation beings, the spirit,
follow the Dharma, grant your blessings so that the Dharma, the leader of the path. Grant your blessings so that the path may hello with completion. Grant your blessings so that completion and my pathway into wisdom.
30.
Chen tu tu ne hong la te la ya wo se zhuo ne se zhe zhuo wei li na dan zhen ba cha jiang wo se zheng de hong ye jie wei rui guan jiao de la ma du jie se Cầm đô ca sa ra cung tư chân chinh cha ye tô đô chê thô ca chinh yong bê nang tô trở về cô lô tì sham nhị chi chê ra cô lô đô sa.
On the crown of my head, upon the seat of lotus and throne, appears a light and home. The brilliant light emanating from it reveals the Buddhas and the Sangha's of the ten directions, gathers their knowledge, love, and power, and turns all back into a home. Once again, light emanates to the closest of the six class of beings, purifies every pure karmic being, self-grasping and habitual tendencies, and they gather back into the home. The home is transformed into the Guru, who embodies all Buddha fields in the form of Vajrasattva, clear and white, and now with the ornaments of Samgaya.
And this word, golden vajra and awareness, emptiness at the heart and the level, and the heaven appeal and the appearance, emptiness and peace. They are vajra posture and the above within the Dorje Samba Je Dadan Taye Semje Je Mare Danze Pasha Tso Chanshe Da Panze De Su.
Ah, glorious Vajrasattva, please purify and please the ignorance, self-grasping and habitual tendency of myself and all the limited sentient beings.
Sorwa da be dur sen tu ge sa wong han chen dan jie ba le chan chu sem jie ran xin de zi jin chong wa gui ge cha tam jie ne pa ran ge chan bu de shu de zhe jiang hua chu.
Having supplicated us, a string of the teacher God entered the verse from see the syllables and the mantra ardent at God's subtle heart. The nectar will beside my God, and it occurs around, opening at my hour, and then goes all the activities and illustration.
Om Bedra Samaya Maya Balaya Bedra Santo Tino Pa Bedra Dendro Me Bawa Sude Kayo Me Bawa Sobe Kayo Me Bawa Anarado Me Bawa Sawa Sede Me Baya Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sedan Shaya Koro Aho Bhagave Savadada Gada Bezama Mesa Bezabhavama Samaya Sato Benza Sado Samaya Mane Palaya Benza Sado Teno Pa Tera Dendo Me Bava Sode Kayo Me Bava Ade Kayo Me Bava Anarato Me Bava Sawa Sede Me Baya Sawa Kama Suta Me Sedan Shaya Kuro Hong Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Savadada Gada Beza Mame Meza Beza Bhavama Sama Sadhu Samaya Mane Palaya Benza Sadhu Tinoba Tetra Dendro Me Bava Sudu Kayo Me Bava Sobe Kayo Me Bava Anarato Me Bava Sawa Sede Me Bayaza Sawa Kama Suzame Sedan Sheyang Kuru Hong Ha 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 Ho Bangawen Sawadada Gada Vajra Mame Vajra Bhavama Samaya Sadhu Kaya Tamse Lene Garshinyam Lama Gumbu Jam Tsuche Tsuwo Durchen Tsenpa Toje Chenpo Danye Chen Drove Tsola Dajam Che
Lost in mental darkness. I will win and to corrupted myself. Guru protector, grant me refuge. Chief Raja holder, embodiment of great compassion. Lord of all beings, I hope and refuge to you.
Tambe dorje sembe shane reje pa chuje te drum ni dong tam che ta pa yin she na wa che ne da la tembe ni se me pa shu
To this supplication, Vartasava responds, Fortunate child, all your negativities or frustrations, faults and downfalls are now purified. Having a soul being in this way, Vartasava dissolves into me, emerging indivisibly.
Men that's an tik song kana wala stu ta zo men da de la tang ki men da la cham sha sha ra la ta zo na ten du ta chi dang ke men da de
Oh, this morning we started the mandala offering. So now we're going to talk a little bit about mandala offering, and then we will demonstrate how to physically do that. Then you can
oh la so
then at 3 o'clock we will take a break. Then we will resume at 3:30. From 3:30 to 5, we will have Ina translate about mandala offering. So right now, Khenmo's going to explain a little bit, and then we're going to physically sit in circle, and she's going to teach us. Sorry, teach us how to do mandala offering physically.
la so ta zo men da de chi dang ka zo cho so nam sa ya chi de la da yin zang res
Mandala offering is a method of accumulation for accumulation wisdom and merit.
Ala so that so dada menda de so dancing yorwa dancing de pamewa so ya chidres tene ni ne menda de so de ma so ta chazo ke ta to yan ro chidres.
So there's two meanings of mandala offering. One is the antidote for the duality, to breed the attachment. The other one is to accumulate the accumulation of merit and wisdom.
La so tende ta so menda de la na menda ke ju pe na ta ran so menda pu ya ke chala jorwa menda de ran so ta ju de ser ngor sang kare na menda pa sa menda ko kare na ya chitang ta se ngu na ya za chen bo ri ji na cho zo ri ya yu re de na zo de ne sem ba re sta kare yu na ri re.
So we have the actual object of mandala. So there's many kinds of this mandala. There's some mandalas made of gold, some are silver, some just regular. So it is of course if you have a gold or silver, it's good, but that's not important. The important is what is important is your mind.
Tene menda pudi kausala ta pe tsama chi ko ya te pe ke chembores pe na menda puya kin dro yorwa dro te sona na ta mbuten te mewa do mewa tende chi ko pe ke chembores.
When you do mandala offering, it is very, very important to be clean. So, for example, the rice has to be fresh and clean. There's no bugs or no rocks in. So you need to be aware that, make sure that your things that you're going to put in the mandala is
Tene menda pudi kausala ngaso menda sa ti kausena na ta ngaso tubzang ke ta chu yorwa bomba na ke tubzang ke chu de ka de na chu den da ya te pe ke chembores chu de ta ma ta na ngaso ji ma ji wa chama sa ja kamsa la chen ro ya ta tende yores menda ke ngaso menda kan la ywa la menda te.
Oh, how to say?
Yeah,
so it is very important you before you start with the mandala. So if you have blessed water, you purify it first on the top of your mandala.
menda kan ngaso tubzang ke den de chapcha ta ya jorwa chapcha menda kan ngaso den de chitap den de chite chu de tabya de ta pena ta tubzang ke chu tabya de pe ke chembores de chidang ge ta ngaso ta da 참장 아주 사자 깜보 된데 도 된데 된데 마다는 사자 깜보 된데 제로 수양 된데 제레스.
So it is very important to do that. So it's said that by doing this, you will not born in a place that will have dry place, something drought places.
근데 다다 드르드소나나 도메와다 자마소게 데 가르스나 근데 요바이나 맞소 페나 함드게 나사 존스나 페나 다다 맞소 셈캄게 다지 나사로지 요르와 페나 다다 다다 미라 나로라
Google. I'm turning off. I have no.
말았어.
Uh,
mendrate la chidange rimbana masona rimba sumyorwa ta pena dege mading tere dine dege kana ngajo ta rimbana masona rimba sumji yore dine ngajo mendra phudu ka ya da mus te simjana
three pieces, the from the bottom, middle and top, we have a three piece.
Tene nga zo mendra ngone ki mendra ka mendra ki nyamle naya yena mendra chitang chena ta kasi chachin zomna mendra ni yune ya koyo res.
So when you're practicing mantra mandala offering, if you have the condition, it is good to have two sets.
Kasi mendra ni yuwa de karisana chik de drip mendra sung kres.
When you have two sets, the one set is to
drip mendra ta so mendra jiwi ki dawa chik ki ren te la tene chupa na lo le ya sham sha ya res.
So one is to I heard it's protection, which you will put in on your shrine to just display.
Ta so mendra ki so mendra ya nga so ta nima ta pare ki mendra san pusa ji ro pusa te drupsa te drip mendra te cha de ta te nga tre mendra te ki mendra chawin da de mendra.
So the other set is just physically making the offering. So right now, Khenmo is holding a plate with some
ngone chena te mendra kan la ko res mendra ni yuna de ngone chena ta da de ki chomba nga pote kare chonggo res na nga so mendra la ko de ka chomba nga yoro la ti chomba nga de chonggo re de sa ngone chena de chomba nga pote mendra kan la ko res. Ya chani yu bate de ke nga chom de mendra ke kan la ko ne de ne dawa chi kre ne shamya res drupsa te chupa posa te.
So one set, so as I mentioned before, one set you're going to offer on your altar, and that's why you will put this the five color, right?
데이터 나데 가르쳐 쓰도 라마 예담 칸로 추종스나 나정데 성교래 근데 네게 나데게 전부 나데게
represent Lama Yedan Ngondro.
라마 다사나 저베나 데게 찌마데 산지 건조래
Middle one is the Buddha.
데네 다다 라마지 데네 난 되는데 예담지
The front is Yedan.
데네 데게 초데 다단데게 다다다 산지 건조들이 산지 건조 산지 건조 답변아 산지 좀 된데 당아서 건조 숨기나니 산지 건조
The Buddha on the right side is
yes
center is
center is guru
Guru.
yeah
The Lama.
라마지 되는 된데 예담 예데 덤바 산지 좀 된데게 당아서 그 덤바 건조 숨나니 덤바 코단 제바지 그래서 되는 되게 다다 잡데 되는 아주 담배추 건조 청고래
Dharma.
라스 되는 되게 용기 줘데 되는 다다 아주 잔주 선바 빼나 되게 줘데 잔주 선바 다 들어가서는 당 아주 라마 예담 덤바 당아서 덤바 되는 데 담배추 건조 되는 되게 다다 겐된 건조 다 대청거리 맞죠 맨다 표기 값은 부사대 데려와 야 주반 부사대 때 차들이
So then that's the offering where we put on our altar. So as Khenmo mentioned, there's two sets of mantra. Mandala. One set we're going to offer to the altar, and then she just explained the guru, the yedan, the Ngondro, the Khenmo, all of that. I mean, later, when Ina come back, you will have more detailed explanation, but right now I'm just doing my best to what So anyways, this set will be on the altar.
지난게 맨다 드비겠을 고중네 zon데 요 마더비가들 쳬바나를 자고레서 다데 콘초섬게 띵자 지난게 맨다 사사 도사 참한데 차데레스 지난게 mik바데 제고레스 딜라테네 디게 맨다 드비셀 라파 차파네 촌네 파키초기 나야 요 마레스.
So during your mandala practice, doesn't matter, it's 1 day or 1 month or however long it takes, this set will be always displayed on the altar. You cannot touch. So then during your practice, you are practicing and visualize and everything actually is going to.
가세 라스트 가세 맨다님이나 지랑게 게심데 마지스 지랑게 라마이 다나조 라마이 담사만 된지남 칼레 요요 산네티 지랑게 맨다사나 데그레스.
So if you don't have that condition to have a two set of a mandala, so do not worry, and then you can visualize that you have a set on the altar, and then you can practice this way.
딜라 드브 맨다치 데네가조 사야 데는 쳬브 맨다라 당아조야 쳬바고 사고와.
Then the other set will be the actual mandala offering.
나서 데네가조 맨다다 푸드갑살라 마조 담보게 안디게 차데기니나스타 디나난 드섬 제송데 퍼지다 콘조섬 손지 메나섬다 딜란 드섬 차네 데네가조 디게 차게 담보 메달 차차 마담 몰라 kampo tende ke menda tende sine dela nga zo kashi kende jingkin ayore te tata dege samare dege nga zo dela za jorwa te shirap ke zarwa shirap ke zain san ta nga zo tende sine pa menda dege ande je sem ta kashi kende je da mampo menda pu ko de samda la pa nane che chen juna dege mone chena ande da chena de sem ji hui sare ta na da so so te tap ka de ji menda kana china pa ya po zena polo yori dela polo
Polo.
polo
Dela polo mende.
polo 요 요링은 저 같이 한 드십 전에 통이면 와.
So
yeah.
at the beginning, at first, you're going to hold the look at your mandala, the bottom set. There's the wheel of Dharma. So that one is going to facing you, right?
Yeah. That's 나서. 얘는 다다 되게 맨다 담보 sobdem 테마 살찌라 부그러 와라. sobdem 살찌 테마 담보 쇼페 푸드가스 텐레레긴 걸로 sobdem레를 니마찌를 텐시 제나 텐시 나나. 그래서 되네. 다 저든데 제 셈나 델란 저섬 제 셈나 근데 엔데 제 파한데 제는 테마 다 테마 지단 솜송 거와 테마 솜송 거래 다 이나 파치나 바가 세치나 되게 가스나 파치야 김세 가래레스나 소소랑게 르nga 예섬게 드바데 파 다바데 제는 삼다 소소 첨베게 로아 셈진 탐제게 롱아 예섬게 디바다게 유스 디바데 치게 유스 암다 엔데 제는 파치야데 김세 데레스.
So first start, use this ring finger to hold 3 rice, and then use this part of the wrist, because this is where the wisdom channel goes. So that's why. So what you do is use that to wipe 3 times. So the purpose of doing this is to purify your own the impurity, and you are representing all sentient beings to purify their impurity.
Laso te sana tene yanje nang la tende jin chor ti ma som le chi gores. Ta ka chi gang de sun o damo de sona tende jin nang la so ti ma de som.
That then you do opposite. Yeah, wipe 3 times. Clockwise, yeah. Counterclockwise.
다 대 점진 가르래 쉬바이나 다 다당 알아 저게 다 산지 다 가서 건조섬게 고송 토기 진압되다 소소라 전주 받는데 제 진압대 주송 삼바 대난신게 다 초트모 공업대 소소라 저 탑송 산는데 가서 나는데 진 팀마섬체 지나야 되는데 지레스.
So the second wiping the mandala is to calling the gurus, and then you receive the blessing through your 3 doors, body, speech, and mind.
맞아. 되는 디스마섬 친난 차나 되는 되게 다단 드제 요로와 드디디 강라잖아.
So after that, you put the 3 cloves rice onto the mandala.
라서 대지 되는 아주 멘다 가드요나 멘다게 다단디 강지도와 멘다 그런데 되는 뎁성바단 되는 샤르성바단 자와니 요런 거 말했을 때 템드레 코나라 가선 데 가리 템드레스나 나란소 멘다데 빼 싸마 되는 멘다 가서 푸구푸구를 뺀 잠보찬 데 템드레데 가선 딕바 다와라서 바단 당아 소지 데라 지겨래 답변은 멘다데게 남디게 간에 샤와단 뎁테발라서 바소나 되는 아주 템드레로 그지 pena nga zo nasa se ando da tene ji mambo ji an temden ro ge te no gre sung ko da tele jim ji mambo ji de she ji do
So also make sure that your mandala is very clean and you protect your mandala. Shouldn't be have a spot and stuff like that, because it's saying that when you have that, then with a lot of the blessings and you know physically there is something.
tene da mendra ka se chojin da da de ge nga zo jam ro ka ge chojin de chi pares la so de jim zen de ne ge kong le shi so an de la tensan da chojin ya darang ge pena da nga zo drib mendra le na chojin de in sam ba kom te mena de jin nam ka la chojin de de je kom na jin chu ba pu sa da nga zo ya mendra pu sa yor wa la so chojin chi pares
Did you learn? Yeah.
la so oh so sorry 라서 다당아서 멘라 푸자게 다다 초전지 요르와 초전데 네 다다 잠로가 갑살라 초전지 파레스 디 짐세네 되는 게 당기 될라마 이담스는 되게 찬데레스 드르멘다레 페치바 푸사레스 슈소 짐세 되지네레스 가센데 마존나 되는 게 되는지 남가라 다다 초전 곰스 슈소 되지네레스
So the where are you offering mandala? Offering to the field, the refuge, place of refuge, field. Yeah. So if you don't have a physical, second set in there, you can visualize the field in your phone.
라서다 되게 민다다 아주 민다무스 로그로다 담보 되랑아주 다데 파쟁 아주 잡배난데 쟁나나라 앞에나 포티레도
On page 40.
라서 다 파쟁 아주 냠딜라 고고체는 데네 푸나야 사레스 라서
Okay, now we all want to move to over there. sitting circle, and then we're going to physically do the mandala. Okay, Khenmo is going to teach us how to do that. Okay. Now this is shear. We can also use blade. You know, just probably kind of hard to understand. Not very often. Oh, okay. Everyone, yeah, you need this. Oh, yeah. Oh, she has one. Oh, she has one. Oh, she. Oh, nice. Mother, come over here. Yeah. You need one? Yeah. Here's one.
You sit next to,
You need this. Okay, yes, that's why. It's not anymore. Well, yeah, for the cat. That's great. Yeah. Oh, wow. So this is what you can have. Okay. I'm just watching a picture. Yeah. Oh, just 8%. Okay. I thought it was to be something special. Great. Okay. All right, you guys just have a look around. More. Yes. Grab some. Ready. Oh, man. Okay. And if you have your book, you need the book because it has the mandala. Should be
okay, you look at Khenmo.
Great.
Look at Khenmo.
Okay, so this one then I'm figuring it out, then I could just something I didn't realize it was I should end and I get this all the So if we have a parliament, we only have. Oh, and we are some. I think I got three. Yeah, people said, maybe three is for, because three drawers, but if you always do that, maybe sometimes it takes a lot of time. It is okay just to. How much everybody can speak. Yeah, just people. Making it hard to get three if you've got four, it's okay. Okay, now to start, you put your right, the wrist on the wrist. Yeah. And then go ahead the outside 3 times, white.
Clockwise.
3 lines. And then we go counterclockwise 3 times. So then put your 3 rice on to the blessing water on your mandala, there's different ways. Traditionally, what most they do is they put a bowl of water, they open water, they dip the ring finger, and then hold like that, and then put the thumb around like that. Or there's another way is put a thumb in the middle and then the middle finger go around. And this is another way. And then the third way is just use the blessing water and just blessing. So whichever way is convenient for you, then you use but that's traditionally they use the first 2 ways, but now we can use this. Yes. Doing this, it will save some time because we also need the recycling mantra, we do lots of things. So therefore, this one is so we must have the or the little ball or something you must have before water. So that if somebody some background on day it's not that's all water have to put saffron. Saffron. You can buy that in any Indian mostly. Or online. Online. There's a flower, right? Flower and The whole flower. Show you, yeah. It's like kind of dry, it's the middle of the caption version. That's only the whole. Nani categories that we can have it not today, you know, kitchen that there's that the Maha, and it is and it is so now they don't get that so now we're going to do inside to mantra and to all bring together the first mantra. You just put on so that so it's just like a foundation. So now you're going to clear it's like foundation. Such a foundation, yeah, straight. So yeah, make sure your the wheel is facing you. And then the second layer also going to find your wheel of Dharma first, and then align with the first one. I found not paid. Some of them have like 8 oscillations. There's some of them like but then they're conditioned. There's and then they all okay, with the second mantra, and then go ahead and put the rice around the edge of the edge of the just one time. That's all. That's taken on that is a nasty one. Very careful. I don't think when you did one from the so this is one of this second more rice. Very small. Yeah, that's what happened. So second level, you can put more. So with the mantra. So after we finish practicing the mantra, mandala, the offering, we have to put this by the one that we offer doesn't have. So then go to whatever you're doing and then come back, then you take it from them. Right, that's it. Do it.
Second, 2 seconds.
I don't know what this is. Yeah, no, no, just that. Oh, yeah, that's what Khenmo said, don't think like we're just playing like we were kids. It's not something for play. So we are practicing this with our intention and purpose. There's the water, there's the earth, all of these we have to consider. For example, water represents emptiness, and so on. I'm just put like this, and then later Ina will explain more detailed translation.
Earth, the water,
Yeah,
fire.
define we define numbers. So the first you can visualize emptiness, then wind channel, earth channel, so then on the, at that stage, we're going to again put right.
So you actually yourself, you're like creating a world, you have 5 elements. The whole universe starts with the space. the emptiness. And then it starts with the earth element, and then water, and then the fire, and then the wind. So you're basically constructing that's the how the mandala is made up.
Yes, so you on. Four directions. So after that, after that, we'll have to go to some directions. East, okay, that is the four directions. The east is, towards you. Yeah, west. Right, so this side closer to the east.
This is east, that's west. Right, so it starts with the east. We start with the east.
Yes.
From the middle.
First in the middle is the already right.
Okay, so the first already in the middle.
That is already, and then the case,
And then east
is all of you go from the
east and you're the south,
to your
then west, and then north.
the right. So this represented four directions, which is.
Don't forget this.
Yeah.
This book
Yeah.
has, it's so good.
Now, we, David did that. Did it every child or child, did it out in a, on Pesach, child, do have. Seven, do have. So next, will be the east, and number explain that seven.
So there are different ways to construct a mandala. Right now, we're learning the 37 keeps. So it starts with the middle, and then you are facing east. So the east is closest to you. So you're actually facing west, right? So east is you, and then so you start with, we already see in the middle, the central, and then you start with east, and then you go to the south, right? Just visualize, right? This is east, then this south, right? And then the west, and then the north, and then back here. So this is like four directions.
Yeah.
Okay. And then eventually, if you look at that diagram here, there are like 37 keeps, right? 37 points where you would move your head. So that's starting mandala. Then there are all after that, there will be like a simpler version. It's this 37 keeps, so you don't really practice that all the time. Sometimes only you go like 7 keeps, which is much simpler. So you like go with four directions and then add 2 more, and then the middle, then you have 7. So right now, Khenmo is maybe 37.
Yes, that's good. Then the other half of the model, that computer and you have the releasing of the that the computer and you have all wire and wire in north, west.
They add the intermediate directions
Yeah.
after you finish the 4 main directions. So the intermediate direction.
They got it, it's in a so the sun all right with Anguva, go higher than higher gene, not the Yotin and Antono, and the Jamin with that. That's a 4 tenths of 4. And then share and phone in the paro, not than 10 the paro like some of what in some series. It's just taking direction, plus in between. Yeah.
That's the 8th direction.
Before is a point.
Yeah.
Point. Now it's the space. Okay, space in between. At first is the point. It's west, north, south, the point. After that, we're constructing between the space, so now the space, okay?
And then you can have
So 4 plus 12, and then plus 24, so and then plus middle, that's the same.
Yeah.
So 4 direction first, and then in the middle, and so
Yeah.
12. And then another middle, and then in the middle, so that's the 4. And then
So Khenmo is going to demonstrate again, so please watch. Okay. Watch Khenmo. Yeah. So now it's for, again, starting the point direction first, four directions. And then after that, it's like a second set, then you do the space in between.
The word the word is probably the word
So then, while you're doing this, physically doing this, and also you need to understand what's the mantra is, so which is in the book. With a practice, with being a practice, then you will get familiar and right now, because we're already, that's why we
There's a bug in my right. Just like just bug probably here.
I said, without killing the bug. You pay for love now. Is that it? Do you like feel sick?
So if I, on the the base is perfect, that pure, powerful. The base is perfect, pure, powerful, golden brown. Bones right there, big here on her. The ultimate severity. The ultimate periphery is ring of the iron mountains. At the center is a stone, from which are raised the name of the king of mountains. They have to be heard, right? In the east is in the south, Jambu is in the west, Patagonia, in the north, Uttarakuri. Beside them are Dekha and Videha in the east. Tamara and Hara is soft. Shaka and Ultra Marina in the west and Kuraba and Kuraba in the north. Kuraba and Karaba in the north. There is the jewel mountain, the wish fulfilling tree, the wish fulfilling crown, the harvest that requires no oil, the precious wheel, the honor here, precious wheel, the precious jewel, the precious queen, the precious minister, the precious elephant, the precious supreme force, the precious general, the vast of great treasure. Okay. Yeah, no. Okay, so now we're going to do the second layer. That third layer, Charlie. Oh, so now we're going to do the precious wheel. So you're supposed to have another layer. And I put in the wheel, put in the middle. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, put in the east. East. We don't put it on the which is not close to you, or on which is to. On the west, then the space in between. So yeah, so you do that one for then the race of greater treasure. So these are so now we were finished up to the base of greater treasure. So now we're going to offer for the four Dakinis, right?
The goddess of
Goddess,
grace.
four goddesses. Yeah, the goddess of grace, goddess of violence, the goddess of song, the goddess of dance. The goddess of flower, the goddess of something. She might not have on the yeah. So 8 goddesses.
Yeah, 8 goddesses.
Yeah, so this layer is offering to 8 goddesses. So some mandala you can find that 8 goddesses is simple on it, but some it's just a flower. So you can check whichever your mandala. Okay, the third layer represents the offering for the 8 goddesses. So it's a layer there. Okay, we start with the east. And then fill the space between. Okay, that's so like not just located with the all the yeah, about some perfume, about the sun, about the sea. And so on. Yeah. That did you that will be start the whole aerosol Victor and then in all directions of there. From the diagram on the page 240, 41, I mean 40, yeah. The diagram. 7 and 8, yeah. Oh, 7. Yes, let me tell you. So on this diagram, as you can see, the east is pointing to the up there. And then, what we did was the east is facing us towards us. So in general, between the north and south, we will that will be the sun. So between the east and between the west and west and east. West and north is good. For sure. South and north, not north. Then you're between south and north is sun. Yeah, and then the south will be not down. That can charge will not down. It's not down, but I think a Chinese north and the east. North and the east, the space between north and east is the moon. Oh my gosh, yeah, moon. That's sun, yeah, sun and the moon, sun and the sun and yeah, sun and this book and the sun and moon. Yeah, but in this book is different. I'm not saying it the program. Actually. Tsechik and then Tsechik. So we are going to do like this. Nima, sun and moon. Yeah, sun and moon. Yeah.
No, if east is here, then the south and the north.
Yeah, here.
South.
But now, now we, Rangoli, both the day with the corona. I'm going to take it from the what? The word is no case, and this is the time for no system. Gone okay. Many young things.
This will
She's Paris.
I think we don't even. Perfect moon has been very much for
And recording.
Oh.
Look, it, no, look, no, the corona. Look, umbrella, what? Umbrella, no,
Then we have a precious mercy.
yeah, and where they go, you need to let my head go at this. So the head just remember so it's the
You know, right now, if it is going to be a very, very hard class to really remembering everything, I think you just need to, you know, take the general information from here, okay, first layer, second layer, third layer. Yes, we have four directions and four spaces and, you know, things like that. If you are, you know, fixated, oh my gosh, it's west or north. So then, yeah. So today we're just, you know, very auspicious said that just, you know, to learn how to do mandala offering. But if you have the intention of perfect your mandala offering practice, so you can come to the center anytime and ask Anya and I, or if you want to, you know, learn from other people, you can do that. You can come here anytime, but from 9 to 5. Anything that's a me, you know, 8, 9 p.m. Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. So the number of agency, and that and so that and we can have to do that and to do that. Then
Then on the top, then this is the precious parasol. Some of the mandala have will clearly have that umbrella, but some others don't. Then and you just put this on top of
now we can do that. How did you work? I have to check in. I took in your work. That I get the day and the last year. First, that I made a conjure to be last year.
So when we first start the mandala, remember we put the wheel facing us, and then at the end you're going to turn that clockwise to be the opposite side. And then
如果没下去的话，当然别去帮你，当然是会是他当面关于普通的话，那当然关系，当然把他。妈妈也把我们的这个什么不同的地方，国外就可以做成一些说，当然这些呢，这个可以理解。那这个就了，it can
After you recite your offering mandala at the end,
it has on a back of it when we do it. That's why I know. Why I know it did it. I'm not the Maya. Did she go back? Did it go back?
okay, so if you are practicing mandala offering again, like just right after,
Then Shilachia Danta, Shilachia Dovina, because the Mati Business, and then the Nagi Yaki Function to Medaki Gurana, the judge and the race.
so say if you are going to a restaurant or you're going to eat a meal and then come back, then you want to offer, place this by the offering mandala, side, beside the offering mandala.
Then I say, I'm not going to say, Medaki because I don't have a high Yoga, my empty. I lake and Medaki, the super now, that's not the day. I lake and I get it for now, I get it for now. Start about the Nanda, and it had to go out and have this lamb or not in a
So, yeah, so if you are to practice it again, right away, so then, gently, lower your mandala and, get to your like this. While towards you, then, the part, so because if you just do like, carelessly, then, your merit will be. Yes. Yeah, so then you all have a good arm.
In that Kundo became Mokudan, then the fire flicking and that's not what I'm going to and they have not doing that. I think there is that the body shady, face sometimes some reasonable, is the character. Then I'm doing that and she but it didn't.
Yeah, so, Khenmo said the other book has the diet and others, exactly what we are talking about. Maybe it's really easy for you to follow if you want to be.
Then I got to them, then I tried to time, new time, and they say, they cannot be possible. You know, only on the GR, I am not the responsible cities where you can have but they have the time to be one try to get touch with yourself.
So, again, if you want to perfect your intention is to practice mandala offering and Ngondro, then I highly recommend this book because this book has very detailed explanation, easy to understand, and the only information that you need. Once you can find this, it's not that expensive, but again, I'm not here to sell the books. The purpose is not to sell the book, but if you really want to perfect your practice of an offering, you are so this is the focus of
But really, guys, it's not serious. Oh, good.
The investigation works are slightly different that in the open here. Not exactly the same.
Really?
Yeah, I just compared to the very first
I think
little bit.
it's the.
No, they're just a chanting recitation words, they're slightly different, so I think
Maybe you don't like because the dialogue, because It's a Tibetan Ngondro also, and maybe also.
Exactly words. I get see the whole book. It's not.
Maybe it's mistake. This because it has few, mistakes. Like say, there's this one way why it's starting. Yeah, they pronounce it. Maybe she likes it
It's a different that we use to that one.
That's what I'm saying. So it's somebody who can.
It should be able to. It depends on which one we want to go for.
Yeah, which that point in content is that. Yeah, this is good. And like how it's started. This is this is work. And then work on voice. And then.
We can't do this book.
That's the picture. You are what do you want? It's you are I don't feel like this is don't get maybe you maybe you champion and or everything is being to put this whole
So GPI is using this, this is not GPI. There are also lots of centers that use this, this, the other one is. It's also.
Some, but it's different. So we can make a new recording.
Lasso, con da tang su vendate lúc tan de chene se te si bors. Ana la chi sin nang due la.
Lasso, agodo.
Lasso. Nga zu menda ki kola tes che menda ta la menan jo kola tes shuna samsala.
So then we continue with mandala offering and the guru yoga.
Please everybody, and I already Lasso tange ke tambo mendala de kola tene ke menda ke kola che shugens tene dada nga so menda ke chita nga so sonam menda de kante chader so de chita nga ran so ke ta so sonam saya ke che de la tende che res tende tene nga so ta menda nyamne chinang ko ya te pena ta nga ran so chaja chembe to pa ngo de chogona yandra tene nga ran so ke chogona 다당한 좀 대소양제 도와 다당한 좀 sonam ge chosa bala tene zu ge ko thopres tene dada nga cho mimi shi ge chosa bala tene dada nga cho chu ge ko thopres ne tene son so je dos tene nga cho dada cho sonam saya na saya de pem se be ge chen bo je res la so.
So about the mandala offering, the purpose of offering a mandala is in order for us to accumulate merit. And so the reason why we want to accumulate a merit is so if we want to realize the view of Mahamudra, then we need both the accumulation of merit and of wisdom. And then as a result of having accumulated merit, one attains the Rupakaya, which is the form emanation, and then through the accumulation of non-conceptual wisdom, we attain the Dharmakaya. And so therefore, accumulating these accumulations are very important. So.
라서 다 된데 지당 아주 맨다 부위 값은 로제나 되는 아주 당에 당게 권에 권나바 제 쉬인 다 양정인 데라지 페나다 아주 맨다게 베제게 쥐나 다 아주 생활 산자 가래이나야 지당게 다 디그레스 조데다 아주 셈바 다 지당 아주 세당우이나 야야르바데 이나야 지당게 가생 아주 던제제 마 좀나야 so ngarang so ke sembares tene menda bedu kapse tene dada dola so pa te so sama chi zama chi ko pe khe chim bores tena chi ta nga so chi so ta nga so menda be pe kapse la jeng ye chi chiba ke o mare shya jim sen ka ren sna ta dada je da ne chim bo zongka ba khong ke ane dada menda phebe ke kapsela tene kong ke thoma delata singama delata panjo re tende chimbo me sende kong ke menda thoma bedu kapsela do tende doleb yorwala doleb ke kan tende menda phuna barwa tene kong ke menda de ta tapare ji tende menda china tende je tene kong pe de koranta menda la chende je ta chama deso chama lapa so ma cha lapa pho tene pe mese be tende ta do to so pe se ne jambo cha tende cha so ta pe mese be ke cho so nam sa tende je 대진에 다당 아주 가지연의 손소제를 로게딘 발라드니 뱀세베게 소대 쳔보 데네 뱀세베게 다 덴사나 데 자사베 사자야보 데 가르스나 제 다니 쳔보게 멘다표 가서 소소난 뱀세베 사자베게 점신 리에서는 다당 아주 보게 가지연제 손소여와 안 금방 가신 라제나 베나다 다 제발 된데게 순서다 된 아주 세진지를 된데 단 더나 가르친 거는 아주 참하게 맨날 맨다선데 가서 소소게 last time this song.
As we mentioned a little bit before, but the mandala offering, so the material of the mandala itself, the mandala base, can be made of different materials like gold or silver or brass. Whatever you have actually is fine for the material. Of course, if you have gold and silver, that's good. But even if you don't have those things, mainly it's about the intention that's important. And so whatever you're using, it should be very clean. It should be offered very clean. And so, saying that the material itself doesn't really make a big difference is because in the old days when Tsongkhapa was alive, during that time when he was making mandala offerings, so he didn't have any a lot of wealth, material things. So he used and then his followers used a flat stone as the mandala base, and because of that material, the hands were all wounded and sore, and also the stone in the end was all worn through. And so they had such a dedication, and so the Gelug for that reason became quite renowned for their dedication. because they accumulated so much merit by making these really rigorous offerings with the rock. And so in many monasteries in Tibet, they actually held no, the monasteries all hold that tradition to be really magnificent.
그래서 근데 다 아주 참아 찍지는 ngaran sola 트바지 유시 바 pena mendra pödu kausala ta pena tambo ngaran so ta pena longe tomba ni ke ta ngaran so mikpa che che te ke kanla ta ngaran so ke longe chungko tene ta ta chue chungko tene sai chungko te sai chungko te la tene serje saji ba te kanla tene ta ta ngaran so serje saji kanla ta ngaran so rap jara ta te kanla tene re japur rap ta pene shar ta ngaran so cho je dan cham je dan tene te ke je ta ngaran so shalom nobzang ke yin tin so tene tege kana ta nga so jasen nap de da tege kana ta chebela moje tene ta da nga so nima da da rimbe je tene koya de zamlen tege na na ta che no do na te khare res ne che no kin ji tin de ra che no kin ji tin de samji tene je menda ke chot bu koya de khare ina tele la ba shin ba bu ya mina samsang je sam no chor sik bare te khare res na menda tong sum ke ji tin tong sum tong ke ji tin ke na do la tene ta da nga ran so ma chu be ke ngo po me ba yin sa 되게 나는데 데 짐진에 되는 데네 다다 노긴 주 되는 제 멘다가 쳐도 되는 제네 다 고이지는 분한 거요래 다 가란 속에 되게 가는 데네 산노제 다나 되게 페나 가란 속 소소 주포데 아니 다다 되게 페나 가란 속다 페나 가서 인라지로 인라지데 초이지다 되게 진가 저게 되게 제 mikpasam 되네 페나 가서 메인이데 니마 다와라 산노다 다 나신게 되네 다다 가서 da pana nga zo ke da supo tang gola supa tende ke tang azo reja bora tende ke samno tang chen pena papa de wan chin ser ji sa je ko tende da tang azo zum juwa shi rin be nga zo supo lo trap de ra tende chen nga zo de ki pa nyu ki ji tin de tang ara zo supo de nyu jin ji tin da nyam de la du de ba ta tende ke samno tang che ba phona ya trigo sares.
And so now, regarding the mandala offering, it's possible that the question arises of so when we make this mandala offering, we visualize that the mandala represents the billion-fold universe, and so now that when we arrange the mandala, we first we visualize the water and then the earth, the golden ground, the iron fans and the Mount Meru, and then the four continents, and then in the cardinal and intermediate directions, the seven precious royal attributes, the 8 offering goddesses, and all of these offerings that we offer represent the entirety of the billion-fold universe. And so the question that may arise regarding that is that, so is there nothing like more specific that we could offer than just this billion-fold universe? The reason why we offer the billion-fold universe is because nothing could possibly exist that is not contained in it. So everything is contained in the universe. And so in order to offer everything that's possible, we offer the billion-fold universe. And one way of thinking of it is you can think that the universe is actually contained within your own body. So then your 4 limbs are the 4 directions, and your 2 eyes are the sun and the moon, and your center, your head and your center is the king of mountains, Mount Meru. And so everything is actually also in your body. So you can think of your body as like the microcosm of the universe, and also make the offerings by thinking of not a mandala in this way.
So so the tang aso mendra phote kausala tang aso mendra phya keng pola tapu zonga ta ma song pa song yorwa ta chidang aran so ke so de loi lang ne tang aran so pena so ka se tapu zong de beng po ina ta ngo so phya chung mar ba te na ting aran so ke lo ke lang ne 만데지 표초고 요사리 된도다 쪼데 멘다 표드 값을라 개치슈라오데 가르스는 셈나게 땅 하나 속에 셈나네 셈나 유기 유기라 데제는 부야에 사말 땅 하나 속에 은혜게 셈나단 데제 추니 매베게 돈에 되는 하나 속에 다 셈되네 대바단 데게 돈은 불고야 되다 대비한 개치슈지 자교에서 때마도야 이제 좀 멘다지 표네 제는지 된 수치 차서 말하다 니네 소소 셈바 마다바 차서 말하다 니네 제제게 다다 집세 lonjo pena tapi zong de jung mo bola so ba tende ji phwa na to so ya jumada ba cha so ba tende yong yo ba ten du min da phwa la ngi par de da nga so rang ke sim number da go ba jibze de number da go ba tende ke da nga so shimbu se sheng number da ba tende ke number da ba som ke go ne tene min da de ngi par de bo ko re tende song do wa ten du te pe ke chen point sa res da so
So then, so this is the main point of the mandala offering. So when we offer a mandala, we can bring to mind what we own and also what we do not own. So we cannot actually offer everything, but we can offer it all through the mind. We can bring it to mind. And the most important point in the mandala offering is that we have to offer without holding back, so without being stingy, and offer with complete faith. If there is stinginess and holding back and kind of selectiveness when making offerings, then the offering is not actually genuine. So when now in the world, if there's something in the world that we own and we cling to it, so we don't want to offer it, then it becomes impure. Or when the thing has been used and is not of the best of the highest quality, then it becomes impure. So essentially, we must make an offering of that is pure in three ways. So the recipient, the intention, and the act itself, or the substance, the intention, and the act itself must all be pure when we make this offering.
라서 된데 다다다서 된데 제송 요래 빼나 다다 치롱로 베긴 도나로라 다 뉴마 렌지 제베 시데 되는 아서 초사 드바 제베 라지당 파덴라 메메가 쿠나 레된데 제다 다다 도난 되긴데 롱색 등이 지신데 차상제 아버지 제마송데 된다 롱게 된다 등이 땡기도 롱게 된다 되나 가르송 요슨 다 아서 뉴마 렌지 제베 시딩 아란소게 또거나 tene dadan dege ngazo so sonam sabala tene ngazo sa da ngarang so ke sa je sonam sabala tene ane dada ta ngazo kusong ge nane da ngazo triple de compato gres pena da ngarang so ke mimi shi ke so sabala tene ngazo ke chuju ke nyoma neji je be shi ke da chuju ko ke tene to gres tendu da de to ba de tene so sonam sabada tene dada lami ke menga da nga 진압 코난에 마도바이신 탑 가야요 말에서 근데 성도와 텐드 초선한 사야데 비 무세 베게다 개침보지레스 그래서
There's a quote from the Forceful Waterfall Sutra, and it says that in order to realize the innate wisdom, we need to gather the two accumulations. So we need to accumulate merit too. So we also speak of the three kayas. And so when we accumulate merit, through accumulating merit of the three kayas, we accomplish the nirmana kaya mainly. And then through the accumulation of non-conceptual wisdom, we mainly attain the Dharmakaya, which is this innate wisdom itself. So to gain this accomplishment, we have to gather these accumulations, and one of them is merit. And so it is said that to realize this innate primordial wisdom, the only way is to accumulate merit and to receive the Lama's instructions and blessings. And aside from that, without that, there is no other way. And that is why accumulating merit is so important. So.
그래서 때는 가서 지단게 멘다게 걸송도 멘다들라 다다 지난 산송은 베나 체 멘다 나게 멘다 상 멘다 센텐데스 송서지 도 덴데 삼바다 나가서 혼로게 값선다오지나 조 데다다가 조다 치 멘다 쉬고를 간디조다 치 멘다데 조 데네 펜로게로 다다다가서 동게 멘다다 데네 다다 상메 멘다라서 미시게 다 돈을 마차와 메나야 무슨 데게 지진게 돈데 데데 손서제 무도 다다다가서 치 멘다들 차츠나 다다가란서 다 렌지리라 강아서 누긴 지딘데 당아란서게 멘다 데데지네 보야데레 데네 다다가서 가세 당아란서 동게 멘다데 가르쳐야데 동 멘다데 아란서 다 대동기 시기 주반부야 돼 차들와 답변아 싸움에 맨다 된다고 이제는 땅 알아서 소소게 수포데 배낭 알아서 마다베게 남바지 마이미지 땅 알아서 라진게 땅 알아서 음 수포데 알아서 다 잔다 배나 땅 알아서 답을 안 신지다 된대게 거는 땅 알아서 잘롱 되네 틀에 된대게 라진게 돈에 대해서 주반부야 da tela pa je same mindas na otende je sonso je dos tene da da nga so kusum ki medaya sonso yores sonso dos da tip da kusum ki medaya so pa te da nga so zo de da longchin ning de la so pe ke na la da nga so kusum ke namja je tende da medaya ke tende song do sina da te nga na so da nga so gla chitang ke da kusum ke medaya tende je chitang 다 믹스에 딱 남주 자cham로 된데 송소 지문도 돼 동음이 기차네 다당한 속에 동 다다 고성기 메라데 라제스 된데 지네다 요데바 된데 지레스 된데 데다 고성기 메라라서 봐다 운에게 다도 발라 된데 지 요레스 나서
There's different levels to mandala offering. So there's the outer mandala offering, inner mandala offering, and a secret mandala offering. And now in the context of the Ngondro, we mainly focus on the offering of the outer mandala. And then regarding the other mandalas, so the ultimate mandala or the secret mandala are not explicitly mentioned in the context of Ngondro, but in terms of the ultimate meaning, the meaning of it is still contained, just not explicitly mentioned. So here, what is explicitly mentioned in the Ngondro context is the offering of the outer mandala, where we offer the universe, the four continents, and Mount Meru, and so forth. And so the ultimate mandala essentially is the offering of the wisdom of bliss and emptiness, the empty bliss wisdom. And the secret mandala is related to the perception we have toward our own body. So and instead of perceiving the body as ordinary, through the practice of the channels, winds, and drops, we recognize its pure nature. And so that becomes the secret mandala offering. And there is also the three kaya mandala offering. And in some systems, like the Longchen Yingtik, that is explained much more explicitly. But so here it is really not mentioned in much detail. But again, ultimately, from the ultimate perspective, it really is included. Essentially, it is included. The secret and the ultimate mandala, and also the three kaya mandala, they don't really exist somewhere separate. They're still included. So.
라서 대단해서 쇼도 쉽지는 지도 다 된다고는 되네 맨다게 돈데 파체 차상 상대와다 무슨 저바진 저지 저기도 하다가서 다 된다고게 된다라서 노단지는 맨다제 푸나나 되네 당네 돈 몸에게 맨다되네 되네 다다 당아서 죄자 죄지 죄세 요 탐제다 저베 되네 알아서 ranjin ke sim ke nelok te tende che impares tende ta ngone ke menda te ngaran so tata menda ngaran so nga kale jan menda sa ne tende ta nga so sosunam sa de kupan ro te so te kare sen ta thon tam be ke tene nga so ta menda sa ja sa ji tene chöpam bu jam bu ji 탐치 단 트레베게 란신게 렌지 제베 이시 데닉랑 임바레 텐데 다 데닉 도베게 치들라 테네 가서 다다 멘다 초서 다 베나 멘다 사지 칼레자데 짐신데 데 데치들이 차드레스 텐데 다 가서 텐데게 간 멘다 표제 텐데게 다 가서 셈데 란신라 다 멘다게 지랑 가서 데스 냠바샤 텐데치나 야보요레스
On page 48 in our text, the whole the meaning of the mandala is actually in there, so you can read that. Everything is contained just in that actually, and then so ultimately the ultimate mandala is one's own wisdom mind, the natural state of the mind, the co-emergent or innate wisdom. And ultimately, there is no giver, no receiver, and no object that is given. There's just the natural state of the mind. And so the reason why we still need to give and make an effort in offering a mandala and then like a substance and being the giver with the receiver is because and all in order to finally realize that, to realize the ultimate co-emergent wisdom. And we need the merit to realize that. But ultimately, we realize that there's nothing to accumulate, actually. There is no substance, there is no one who is doing anything, and there is no act of doing anything. Everything is one within this innate state of wisdom. But so we make this effort to offer an external mandala in order to be able to realize that. And so because of this ultimate purpose of mandala offering, after having made our mandala offering, we should meditate for a little bit, resting in the nature of the mind.
So ta chita nga so mendala menda punante kapsula ta pena nga so konda ta nga so chamba da tende ke kona ba nyamle na ke na menda ka kapsula chita menda de la ta na ngamo ta ru pa chamba namba la ta ina chachin shibe je me cha menda de jingma do yo marwa la te me du chamba la ta kona ba ke menda ke chikan la sa tende mirachi kan sa chine tene tata so sojen de gomna tene mirachi kan tende sa na tende chine nang yore tene tata ngazo chitan ta pena dron ka che chan chan pa na ma chamba na ba ke chitan mera de la tende ni do cho ni do je do ta pena cho chik de kar sina ta mera tende chine pu cha we ke chi la mera de 야네 다양 영화저 차 세계적인 메라다 냠딜라다 차다 메라 냠딘 로지네 다양 베나 메라드 푸네 야다 야라 자지 드네 가저 차레레 제자지라 드네 사지 베지소기 메다 드네 지네다 레레지고 야 차레레 제 야데네 차지 베지다 드네 지네 리베르베 드네 지네 차다 메라 냠딘 로야 드네 제 로소 드네 제도 다데 지네 다다 nga da jang gwen xin na cho ke khong ke tan de che song na so ten de ta na ha mo ro chi na ta nga zo ta cha chin re cham ba ro pa na ba la ten de che me sun de ta chi chon ro chi na ten de che na go re ten de sam ba la ta ten san de sun ro chi na ta kala ko ta kan chi ke thone cha chin re thun chin de se ka nga ma ta ma da wa che yo de sam ba ane ta me da ni da wa che som chi na nga ran so me da nyam le ne ke ya drip me da so drip me da de chi ta nga so ta ya cho shen ke cha bin cha ane de la me da chom ba ta na me da ke kan la ta da mar ke ya de me da kan la chom ba nga ku de ta da nga so ta ta da lama yedam tene ta da nga so sanje konjo chu konjo ta nga so genden konjo so na de ke ta de chom ba che be ke ta me da kan la chom ba nga ku tene a chu sap chepe menda chene te nga zo ma yu na chene tene nga zo menda sa tende chene menda la tende ni yores ni tende che go res tende so na so ra ta tende tene nga ran so ya ta ka se menda nyam ne na ge na tene 간데로 다 소소 가래 답 대사도 나다 지지단게 조나 니 조나 보마 조나야 소소게 사사 대간라사 아니야 간라다다 되게 알아서 다 초신 된데지 요요 삼바 된데지 곰네 된데지네 드난 되게사레스
And also in the old days, the retreatants, um, they didn't have the same conditions that we have today, obviously, and so they often didn't have two mandalas. So now we are actually using two mandalas for our practice. And so in the past, often they would just use one mandala base because they just only had one, and so they use this one base for their accumulation. And then the refuge tree, the recipient of the offering, they visualized just in their mind. And so nowadays, in the Drikung tradition, we are actually using two mandalas, where one is the one that we hold and use for our offerings, and the other one is the one that we put in front of ourselves, and that then is the refuge tree, represents the refuge tree. And those who only had one, they would just visualize the refuge tree. And so the way we also practice in the Drikung lineage is that so we have our offering mandala in hand, and so we offer our heaps, and then we actually, after each round, we actually put it down and we perform a prostration. So in the Drikung lineage, we actually performing prostration together with the mandala offering. So for each prostration, we'd make a prostration, and then after that, we offer one of the short mandalas. The ground is scented with I forgot the words now. With the ground is anointed with scented water. Yeah, and so anyways, then we offer that short mandala, and then we prostrate again. And also His Holiness Chetsang, His Holiness the Drikung Holiness said that now in the old days, he also gave this instruction that in the old days it was fine to do it that way with just a base, but that was because they didn't have any other means. That's all they had. So in that case, of course, one was enough. But nowadays is that there's no reason not to have the conditions. So nowadays is really the time where we can get like almost anything, things like that. So it's not like in the past. So we can certainly come up with two mandala bases somehow. And then, of course, if for some reason you really cannot come up with it, you can just use one, that's fine. But if you're using two, that's best. And in that case, then, so one of them is your practice mandala, and the other one is your your accomplishment mandala. So the accomplishment mandala is the one that represents the refuge tree and that you place in front of you to represent that and to whom you're prostrating. And so you're setting up that mandala, and you place 5 heaps on there. And these heaps represent the Lama, the Yidam, then the Buddha jewel, Dharma jewel, and the Sangha jewel. And then so you put that in front, and then the second mandala is your offering mandala that you have in your hand that you use while you see that to accumulate the mandala over and over again. And so you can do it the way it works best for you. You do what you can. If you really only have one, then you can do that. But if you can get two, then that is better. If you just have one, again, then you can just visualize the refuge tree. So
ene dada so menda ke kapsenda na da ngaran so ke zanda chia de so pe ke chen bu cha de re se da zanda chia da tene a so ya chamre samre kale ka thang che tende che da so la chi su chia na ya jo ro tene a so tende ma yin ba tene che da nga so che chen ngaran so mse na menda thima chi phu yu do menda bom chi thima chi ya na thima ni som tende ta 대인도 삼발라 간 팀마직 소소게 피와텔라 오네 게게 semba number 다바 아니 제 지아 간 타라 소소게 자마 아니라 제 남다게 된데 제 표토야라 베존나네 아보요레스 대인도 다 아주 가지네고 소소게 가세세 사토나레 소소 가레 텔라티 간 타라게 잡잡야야지나 되네 오네 소소남살레레 야요라 되나지 미라 사베게 갑살라다 지아이나레 지다 아주 찹차 답이야 이날에 돼서 찹차 돼서 답 보내신 것도 아텐데 돼서
Chap.
다다 전데 멘달라 다다 되게 당한서 다다 범바게 범죄 때 답이야 요러라 다다 되게 찹답이야 돼서 저희는 빼나던데 마담나 되는 아주 감디기 아주 감디 나자스나 답변은 아주 메게 샘감디 갈라월다지 탭대와다 되네 제 샘감디서 마데발라서 반로다 된데라 진로야 된데 참 소소로 된데게 다 솔롱로 세고라 솔롱나자 된데 용야니까 다 된데 빼나 된데 아주게 추대 추장도 된데 제 다다는 아주 마더나 되는 아주 사자 감사라서 받진로와라 된데게 지야 된데지 유사를 다도 사마 이제 때다도 소야데 템던다 오래도와라 된도데 간 잡잡게 툭툭게 잡잡나나야 보도스 다 되나지게 다 아주 니마레레라 멘다사 온데 삼발 멘다게 참상한 소상부터 오다 드랭게 멘다게 사자 베긴 조데 오사니 베주다나 데사레 시비시다시다 렘파에 참도 다 빠진 데사레스 다 사니 베주다랑 따는 데사레 된데촌 삼디요 마레스 텐데 땅에 존나 대산도 졸라 가레나야다 멘다 베야게 좀 많이 마탐니지 파체 뇽뇽로 와테데 마라게 페 뇽뇽레 텐레레게 나로라 멘다게 드르데 레레레 제탐나 가세 지오자 가세 드르데 마 파즈 지오참 드로탐나 소소 소남 다와사게 사게레 송도 와테데 아주 소남 사고 와인사 텐레레란 드르데 지오자 텐데 잔나토나 아니 베칸 무세베게 아포지레스 데네 데게 메라사 차윈 드르데나 데네 사자 조사라 마인 바제제네 징아조 사자 잔사 단데라 야보 텐데 제라 로나나 야보 요레스 어 텐데 제라서
And also, what's very important when we offer the mandala is your attitude, your state of mind. So it could happen that sometimes, for example, when your mind is gets tired and exhausted and unmotivated, then maybe also your care, your cleanliness, and all of that declines, and that's actually extremely important. And sometimes when we get just really exhausted and unmotivated, then we may be a little bit more careless, and that's not good at all. It's important to however many mandalas you can make, whether it's just one or two or 100,000. So even if it's just a single mandala that you once make, it should be each mandala that you make should be of best quality and clean. And in that way, you are accumulating a lot of merit. So it's important to just try to be very careful, also to make the offering with such a pure state of mind that is not just careless about the offering. And so, for example, when we're offering the mandala, one part of the cleanliness is that we are sprinkling some of the vase water on the base to clean it off, to wipe the grains off. And actually, it is that if one is not very careful with that, so if one doesn't always sprinkle, doesn't really wipe it clean, then the kind of interdependent connection to that is that it may cause some mental unease, or some kind of a wind imbalance, basically becoming mentally. It can affect your mental stability if that water is not sprinkled. And also, if the water is not sprinkled as an outer interdependence, you may find yourself in a very dry place. So there's all these connections, these kind of interdependent connections, and therefore it's good to be careful as much as you can. And another thing is that if you're doing a mandala offering every day, since you're doing it every day, you may also think that, so I can use the grains from today again tomorrow. So you shouldn't actually think that way, because there is not probably it's not the case that you will not be able to find more grain. So you probably will be able to come up with some grains every day. And so therefore you should definitely change them. Then you have much greater merit. And then also when you are bringing that these grains outside after using them, you shouldn't put them like just throw them in the trash or somewhere dirty, but bring them to a clean place.
So, but they get a short and ship to ship them can allow the did that didn't but the sun I read was that I'm in as a pretty castle.
And when we offer the mandala, what we need to accumulate over and over again, that's the verse on page 47.
남주지당 안서다 멘다칼서 사야 다다 안서 사지비지당 되네 다다 안서 다다 연라 덴바 두바 안서 찬사와다 추지샤바다 지스이랑 소용게 되기 연라 덴바 다다다 안서 두바 대다 되네 다다 거서면서 라메 촌나라 송바 데니데 데섬데 남주 사나게레스
그래서 참아 냠도 사고를
알라 사지비 되네 다다 연라 두바 대다 다다 거서면
음,
데사
음,
데찬
mm-hmm. And then, so then, however, normally when we accumulate the bumchik sag or
범지라서
okay. Then so what we actually accumulate is a bit more than that. So we accumulating. So it starts with the ground is sprinkled with scented water and strewn with flowers. That part, and then so there's 3 sections to it, 3 verses. The first is this one. And then the second one is the short 7-branch prayer. No, I prostrate and make offerings and so on. And that's also one verse. And then the third one is the 3 kayas, so which is to the gurus who have perfected the 3 kayas and make outer, inner, and suchness offerings. So those 3 verses is actually what we accumulate 100,000 times. Bumchikti Samasakura.
그래서
Yes. Mhm.
그래서 다 되게 졸라 다다다서 라멘 남주들이 다 라멘 남주들 가져다 저들 가르친다 아주 초선남사 된대지 당 알아서 초 당아서 메다사 초선남사 베기 지라다 알아서 소소 란주라 라메게 진압진 조거나 되는 알아서 이바 더 가르고요래서나 되는 아저게다 먹을 알아서다 대바다 먹을지 고래서 말해 된도 다 대성구도 다당아서 페나 아주 찾아진부 도바데다 쟁아서 몬도 저거나 라마람 무고고레스 라마람 무고시네 되는 알아서게 라미신랍데 셈네 조고레스 되는 라미신랍데 셈네 조는 된 알아서 소소게 셈게 내lok데 란신데 제 또두고라 된도다 토마데 무고라 라레데요레스 된데다 나가서 다다 나된 도베긴 고난 데서요라 다다 당한 좀 대송요래 다다 먹을지 니마 마셔나 되네 아주 진압게 추진 좀부터 소야 저래 빼나 먹을다 알아서 먹을때 가래게 zor고 샤요래스나 다당 알아서게다 가래게 zor고 빼나다 다다 가래게 zor고 되네 다다 빼나 다당 아주 다 빼나 가리 유바텔라 되네 아주 빼나 가한테라 니마 포네 되네 가르티 마게 추디 마 바고로 와스 페나 가리 코라라시 추이나야 니마 마포나 가리게 니마테 추디 마 바비아요 마라 테나시게 라마라 진압라 토바당 네바 요자 마란소게 진압 메바인 가르 마란소게 미구 메나 되네 라미 진압데 셈네 조도 마레스 텐산 되네 라미 진압데 가라소 셈네 조고나 니바드 페나 라마타 오네게 차조게 따와곤데 저데 바이나타 가세 딘데 제메바이나야 페나 소소게 대바다나 지사데 야들로 야루단 산루로 마투베게 소소 라니게 ngone게 산지 우인 삼바단지 소소도 대바다나 지데나 소소 라니게 조섬라 대바다다 다나 제비 좀센라 되는 소소라 나다 소소라 버스 칼라거다 인딘딘데 중거레스 송바르와 텐드 다 먹고도 뱀세베게 개쳔보레스 나서.
And then after the mandala offering is the Guru Yoga practice. And the Guru Yoga practice is essential in order to receive the blessings of the Guru. And the blessings of the Guru are needed in order to realize Mahamudra. So in order to realize Mahamudra, therefore, one must have devotion to a Guru. And only then can the blessings enter the mind, and only when they enter the mind can we realize the nature of the mind. So it all depends on this quality of devotion. In the song of the fivefold patha of Mahamudra, it says, unless the sun of devotion shines upon the snow mountain of the Guru's four kayas, the stream of blessings cannot emerge. So the Guru is like a snow mountain, and one's devotion is like the sun shining on that snow mountain. And so when the sun shines on the snow melts, and then it produces a stream of water. So even though the nature of the snow mountain is water, if it doesn't melt, a stream of a river will not emerge from it. So although the Guru has realization and blessings, if we have no devotion, then we cannot access these blessings. They cannot enter our mind. So to receive the Guru's blessings, we must have devotion. And of course, ideally, that Guru is someone who has realized the nature of the mind already. But even if not, if we just cultivate faith, and knowing that if I just have devotion, then all of these qualities nevertheless can arise within my mind, then that's sufficient. So what's just important is to have devotion.
그래서 근데 당하란 속에 가르순 다다 되게 바제 직 답안이 베게 값센서 달라메 둔타 템바 송바지요레 달라메 대타 템바 송바데 가르송 바레스 되삼바 당하란 속에 라마라 무기 지단로 제나 랍데 가르레스나 당하란 속에나 달라마라 지단게 가존데요라 오늘 람로 제나 ngaran so ke sosu ke lamate ngone sanji ngui sambake khadu dushi che che ge dona dedu da ngone ke lame ke sinap de ngoran so len jopares ta dedu ngone thane ke ngaran so da ngone ke nyuma lenje che bi shi de da ngaran so ngone ke dedu to to gure so do ngaran so lamate ngone sanji da chebar me chuju ko ranji sambaji semna theso me ba che chebe ke du de la lame dunta so do 다 대두 값을라 오늘 전에게 뉴말렌지 집에 시대 제일 집에 그 뒤차도래 손 다 지다는 안한 속에 된제제기 미그제 당하절라 다다 레담보 가서 좀 마탐나야 답변은 안한서 라마 계위신이 남발라지 야보레스 다 참아지 간다 소소소게 바베지 딱 주 단지 소소게 지조이나 가레나지 야보레샤스 다냥 안한서 겐데 군조란 뜻이나다 간다지 소소 야보레 삼백인 뜻이자 되바이나 아니 조데 가서는 가란솔라지 지남주와다 가란소게 다 건조섬게 담세 망갈라서 바다 라미 지나라서 바다 가서 야보레 삼백인 뜻이되다 빼나 가서 답변나 가란소게 준다 인된다고지 당가소게 제마장 답변나 인된 상아지도 대대삼발라 당가소게 야보레샤 생에게 계신 대대지 상로지 거는 가서 소게 빼나 소소라니 다 당하게 갑도 신주로 자서 빼나 당하저게 소소라니게 빼나 룽아이 숨게 무게 딕바삼고 참아야 뿌레 삼베게 다 간당하저 다나지 장텀나 대경냠들라더니 무게지 담나데 소소를 캡상 요레서 어떤데지 라서
And then the way that we rely on that Guru and how we think of the Guru. may vary, but ideally, of course, if we can, the best way of cultivating devotion for the guru is by seeing the guru as the actual Buddha, as the Dharmakaya at all times. So if you always see the guru in that way, then you will truly receive the guru's blessings. And then the innate wisdom will truly reveal itself. And so, as beginning practitioners, we may not be able to always see that way, but at the very least, what we can do is we can think of everyone as good. So, any spiritual teacher, any lama, anyone, we can think of them as good. So, for example, when you think about the Sangha jewel, you think they're all good. You think of everything and everyone as good. If you always see everything and everyone as good, then you are always actually maintaining a pure perception. And if you always maintain a pure perception, then the blessings will enter your mind too. And also, you are keeping your samaya with the three jewels. And you will acquire their qualities and remove all faults. And so if you always see everything as good, now the benefit on your end then is that if everything is always good, then you will not accumulate any non-virtue. You will not do anything wrong. You will not have anything negative in your body, speech, and mind. And that is really your own advantage.
나서 된데 당아주 고만함베 손중을 간다서는 무그 랍제요나 지바 랍제용 그래서 무그 렌제요나 지바 렌제용 그래서 무그 타마제요나 지바양 때나신지 용거래서 송서도 된도 라메 무그라 라레데 바레스 된도 짐신 가레레서나 다 ngama tangege lojin ta lojin roje shinada mapaloza jahala thing ta thima jinga je pherwa te ti ke kausala thing kasela ngatengi mido ta khong pla harel tende phebe ke pla hare ke ta nasela mlare pa tsena ji kon telo pa ta pena mapaloza ke naro pa tende jine kon da tsebe ke kausela tene dada mapaloza ke naro pa thoma jembe ke kausela tene khong dada yedamde jiji dada de demcho dada yedamde tente jinga thema son dona yedamje 데데 가서 나로바데 공게 예담을 트론네 데제네 조도 앞에나 예담 데라 트로바지는 데라 조 데네다다 나로바 공데 데나 조데 삼발라 데네 다프 지랑게 예담 담게 베스 라마 담게 베다 지랑게 차프 데제 송도와 데송도 가서 데네다다 마발로자게 토기 시바나지 다 라마게 예담 냠네 난고 답변아 예담데 자치 바레스 당아 예담데 담진 공게 다다 예담라 차츠프 남바와 데인도 삼발라 데네 라메 가레 송바레 lama mebe korona sanje chawa lornemes kabat ta kazan ka sanje tong tsani thamje de kazan tsabe lama le tine chonsha bares lama mebe korona sanje chiwa khaya yo mares dusom ke sanje thamje de kazan lama le tine sene chine chonsha bare tende che re song ta del jimsen le tine ma ba lo sa ka ta de ka sa le temdro cho sun de sambala ma ba lo se ke ta ne ta de ke khong ke jiba la tine ngone ke khong ke rang ke se ke jiba me wa ta pena mewa ta tende ke mewa da tene khongya 다 추기 돈에 되네 다다 추기 지바다 페나 페나 다당게 지바데 페나다 레지 남게 메도 야르 som바레다 콩 소소 랑게 샤자 차지 그 레지데 남게 메도 남칼 메도 제스 바마라 남게 메도 나제레스 가서 데데 가슬라 다 코나바 템던라고 지네 되네 다 대답에나 mane dada chu ge juba de ta tene dada benada malare bala so bada mambo je lomban tene je chombara was de jimsin sama kawal thok do yosna lame ge mugula tene je mugu dan tene je ta lame ge yin tin jong na tene lama sanje nguyin ba tene tene ge zo de ta thamji lama de kusum ge dani dona kuji ge dani ba ji de ha ko res pena lama de kusum kuji dani de kande cha go resna 다 라메게 토게 란신게다 동부 란신게 차데 데네 라메게 페나 추주게 란신 차데 바레 다네 다다 라메게 꾸게 Dada ranjin serve ke chade longu chade barwa longu ranjin re tene lama ke dada de ke ta thuje kunchap ke jam ninji ke ranjin ta jamse ke ranjin de tene dada de ke trugur ke ranjin chade bare ta de ke ngane tene dada kusum ke danye ke ngane ta tene zepa thune thamje ranjin ke chomba ta kusum dada de ke oda kusum kuje ke ranjin tende che chade yores laso.
And so the past masters have all said that if the devotion is the highest, one is the highest practitioner. If the devotion is average, then the practitioner is average. And if the devotion is inferior, then or low, then the practitioner is also low. So everything, one's level of practice really depends on one's level of devotion. And there's a story from the old days when Marba was alive. So Marba traveled to India, India 4 or 5 times, and so when he came to Pulahari, in Pulahari, by the way, that was the place where he met with Naropa, and where Naropa had foretold the coming of Milarepa. And so when Marpa met with Naropa there, so at that time, Naropa had his own Yidam deity, and I don't remember now which one it was, but it was either Vajrabhairava or Chakasambhara. But anyways, it's whatever it was that Yidam, Tilopa manifested as that Yidam before Marpa. So Naropa manifested before Marpa as that Yidam. And so and then after when he appeared that way, then Naropa then asked him, so now that you see this form, so who do you prostrate to? Who will you prostrate to? Will you prostrate to the Yidam, or will you still prostrate to the Lama? And so then Marpa thought to himself, well, my Lama practices that Yidam. That Yidam is the main Yidam of my Lama, so they're both the same. And so therefore he chose to prostrate to the Yidam, because the Yidam is very precious. And so as in response to that, Naropa then slightly reprimanded Marpa, saying that all the Buddhas of the past, or the Buddhas of the 3 times, became Buddhas in reliance on a guru. They all became Buddhas because they had a guru. There's nothing more precious than the guru. And so because in that moment, because of what Marpa had said, though his connection was slightly off in that moment, and so therefore his mundane and Dharma lineage were not fully aligned later on as a result of that. And so so regarding so what didn't really become fully aligned was his like personal lineage. So because of that, also none of his own son did not actually become like a close disciple. So he did not that carries on the lineage, and however also. So he says in Rejung, so the Rejung, so the cotton cloth ones lineage will so how to say 남캠 매던 난신 샤가리 간다 또 wait a minute, what's that?
남ke medo dan namche mebe ke perwala.
Yeah, today Rejung car tin 가람 매바리.
Namke medo sonde dada zala soso rangi shata ke buddha chong se tamando den derwa. Iba
Yeah,
me ese laso.
di 매바리 라.
Jipate soso rangi
The
jipate.
Yubadi, yeah. So what was so the world lineage that should have emerged from his son Dharmadode, that became, it is said, like a sky flower. So a sky flower, a flower in the sky is an an impossibilities. There's no flowers in the sky. So essentially, the lineage that should have come from his son became just like that, something that never actually appeared. But then on the other hand, in terms of the Dharma lineage, then the lineage of the cotton cloth ones of Milarepa then emerged. And Milarepa then had countless students. And so the point he was trying to make here was that all the qualities that arise in you come from the devotion to the guru. And so therefore we must truly see the guru as the Buddha. And so the guru is the way we see the guru as the Buddha is as the embodiment of the three kayas of the Dharmakayas and Bhogakaya and the Nirmanakaya. And so in terms of the Nirmana Kaya. So the guru's appearance is the Sambhogakaya, and the nature of kindness and of love is the Nirmana Kaya, and his wisdom mind is the Dharmakaya. So in this way, the enlightened three kayas are naturally complete within the guru. And so this is how we see the guru as the actual Buddha.
그래서 다때인데 가서 라마 찍le 차천 바이나 소소게 자비 라마 감 데데는 다 라마 거로 다 되게 다당아서 라마게 되게 값에나 다당아서 조쟁데 되네 다다 자비 라마데 당아서 주그 도지 창 차되로와 되네 되게 콜라 까지 두터 잠지고 거대바 된데제제 되네 다다 되게 다 남발라 다다 되게 도지 창에 발라 되네 다다 오디 소소랑게 자벨라마다 이와메바 된데제레 되네 니네 라마 찌기라 라메게 꾸찌라 되네 다당아서 꼰초섬 차데바 라메게 꾸데 당아서 산제 꼰초레 라메게 송데 되네 아서 그 추꼰초레 라메게 토데 되네 다당아서 다 당아서 람 다다데게 당아서 온다당이 데스 초서 다당아서 페나 ngaranso ta pena lami ke kusung ro dena dene dadangazo ta gendeyon jiacho do dene pena ta dadangazo lami ke dada songde dene chugonjo ta lami ke gende dadande ke chugonjo je dene lami thokde ta dadangazo 다 젤라치는 초소 공개매지 다 도스지는 템바스선의 쇼긴다 다데 젤라치는 다 솔바비 젤라란테 딘데 초소 라서 다딩에 데스지는 텐데 쇼고야 쇼야시 데는 도나 당아란 속에 녜조데 가레 쇼야인스나 마란 속에 따페나 ngaranso chiro rusme bala ta ngaranso chunyamle de ngondo ki nyamle naya yore ta na shin ke ta ngaso lama komya yore dona nge khare shugo yosna ta ngaranso chunyamle na de kapsala ta pena ngaranso lama thamji de chigi namba ke pena da supo mara samre ma do pe ke lama thamji ke thok de ngaranso ke chuji ko ranjin kusom ke dani kuje ke dani imbate dona chirang ke semnana lama ke thok de chuji ko kuje ke dani kusom ke dani imba chirang thezom mandona tene lami ke chilo ke pena lami ko khande che na ya chepar khaya yo mare pena ngaso pena dende che pena chaba tan데 가서 차바게 차바 가사 갈래 차바 차베 찍바 단게 도와 차바 이나야 사자 단사 제발에만 차베게 추임 바 찍바로 와서 대나 신지레스 대인도 삼발라 라미 꾸치로 만다 잠리마도 베 라미 톡 삼아 찍바 연자 되네 가져게 빼나 당 얘기 답변하다 대당아서 사자 게로 니마 당 라마제지 다 된제지 마인 베지 라마 탐지에 소소 그 대바 다나지는 다나지고 빼나 소소라니 게 당아서 주지 가와이나 초그레 소소랑게 주지라 대바 다나 구셔진 냠네 제조 탐지라 다나 자한테 뺨세 베게 야보레스 가스나 짐세 가레선 사마 냠네 로다 단다고 줄로게 남바 마다바잠 pena pechata ngazoge pechagen denpa ke chigmada samre ma da doyong ke chane sama nyamne chigba daja tomba chigni jupa yembe jimsin na tene thamje ke sama chigba yembe jimsin dana susu ke dana je thamna Tene 캡사한 데 술로 요래서나 소소 라니라 비네 페나 덴드 진람 주야에나다 간다 초트 먹고 ngorом 주야에나다 라메게 되네 지 냠도게 소소 진람 주야에나다 되네 페메세 베게 개침보레스 덴도 다다다 덴데 슈규슈 직텐 다다가 저 페나 라마쿠지 가슬라다 조데 개치주지라 다다가 저 완실린야 소야 조레 덴도 다 소소 게 자벨라마데 조올로 곰네 완실린 바카스가 라마 자벨라마데 조올로 곰네 데네 다다가 저야 자벨라메긴 네 다다가 저 완실린 린야라서 바요레다 그래서 다가 저 림베게다 혼로지den가 저 십자 덴데 제 슈야지다 데랭가 저 드솔라 바베게 완실다 저 십자 시하게 드소 덴데 제 메디삼바 지단게 다다 텐소게 쳐대다 데인데다 nga chidang ke yedam khande chenare lama khande tambo wangji thopsaru jila dene soso rani ke dene dada chogan denpan donjine da nga zo choga khare na ya dige kapsala soso denpa songjine ane wangji de yanje soso rang ke lin chogyo res dende che dende yenda dada nga zo dada nga zo lami ke kapsala da nga zo shuya de jamje ins dende sambala da laso
And so when you root guru, one root guru is the embodiment of the Dharmakaya Vajradhara. And so from the Dharmakaya Vajradhara, the ocean of Yedam deities emerged. And they all come from this one source. And that one source is inseparable from the root guru. And within the one guru themselves alone, the three jewels are complete. So the guru's body is the Sangha, the speech is the Dharma, and the mind is the Buddha. So when we practice the Dharma, that we should do so without any sectarian bias toward different lineages or traditions. So we can practice any tradition, and in various traditions, the lamas, the teachers may have different outer appearances, different bodies, but their minds is all the Dharmakaya. They're all one and the same by nature. And that is their true nature, is the nature of the three or the four kayas. So it's most important that you just have no doubt about that all the lamas embody the three or four kayas. And whatever is their outer form, it really makes no difference. For example, when it rains, then it may rain in different places at different times, but the rain itself, what falls from the sky, that water is still the same. It's no matter where it falls, it's still the same water. And so even though the place or the form may be different, the wisdom mind of any lama is the same. So whether it is Sakya, Gelugpa, or Nyingma and Kagyu and so on, all the lamas should be regarded with a pure view. And whichever is your own lineage is also fine. You can practice your own lineage with respect and veneration. At the same time, you sustain a pure view toward all the other lineages. Because essentially, they all come from the same source. Maybe there are different words, and they use different words, but the meaning is always the same. And our teacher is the same Buddha. And therefore, we can maintain a pure perception. So if you are able to sustain a pure perception, then you will receive the blessings and you will reach the cities, all the common and supreme accomplishments. And the experiences and realizations of the Lama will enter into your own minds through the blessings. And so we have said that the guru embodies the four kayas, and the four kayas are related to receiving the four empowerments. And we receive those four empowerments also through the guru yoga practice. And so here we are visualizing the guru at the crown, and then we think that from him we receive the four empowerments. Today there's not enough time to talk about this part in much in detail, but we can talk about this at some later point. But in general, whichever yidam one wants to practice, one must first receive the empowerment. And after having received a formal empowerment, then you do the practice, the sadhana. And in the sadhana, you can always take the self-empowerment. So once you have taken the formal empowerment, you can always take the self-empowerment as you recite the sadhana. So you can take, just through visualizing, you can take the empowerment from the guru yourself. This concludes the Guru Yoga topic.
That's all. Ta na pena nga zo lama de pena ta wang ji dong do du shi na pena lama la nga zo ku chupan bo ko na lama den dön ji nam kala kom tene pena ta ta nga zo lama chi lam jo wa ta wang ji la so ba len ko na lama de ju zo lo kom ko den du lama ju zo lo ko ne ta lama ke ko song thong ne wo zen chun de tene rang ke ta nga zo ta ju lo sho de lu ke ba ta tene jen ba le wo ze den jen ba le de tene nga zo nga ke ba ta wo ze de ning ka le de tene nga zo 다 두섬제 얘기 들어봐다 되네 아주 어저때 당 아주 디즈데 라미게 다 진압 디즈데 다 대화를레데가 도섬 찬양게 들어봐다 송서 다 라미고 송 도다랑게 롱아에서 예미데 차송 냠 된데게 간에 당 아주 다당아란 속에 다 뉴만 현지 집에 시게 간나 되네 아주 달제 냠발자야다 된데제 차디오레스 근데 뒤진들라 지 ngaran so ke shilala so pa chobi kapsana ta nga so choban busan dön jin nam kala gonna de ke tembala gonna de ke do tene nga so ta da nyi nye ba ta de jin de de ke kapsala ta nga so cha cha chen bu to ba de jin ngaran so to ba de ba na ta na pena cha zo ta ngaran so ke lama de nga ta dan de che gomna son de gre so to pena ngaran so namju ta pena nyen de na de chen yorwa 다 딘데 가슬 냥된 데레지나야 안데지네 요바체 디기지 말아다 가서 메도다 다베기 돌아 데네다다 데 라마데다 총강 스지 딘데지 냥기 간라 당원에게 차제진보다 당아조게 딘데게 돈이진보 따와도 근데 내가 뒤진데 가서 딘데게 라마데 냥갈라 겁나 딘데지나 데게레 딘데지 송고도 스탠데 다 딘데지 겁나야 만데베서 말레스 그래서
Die Ninkalat namgyun innere dinit talat innere karat innere namgyun.
라서 남주에는 아주 냥데 딘데지네 요러와라
Ning korang dinavore.
so nga zo dilang zo da de mikban ho jin de so
Kanadene. Die ning namgyun din nangshira. Deni tanda gombe kapla din nangshirwe.
nyen de nga ran zo ta jing an ju nam ju nga ran zo shata ke den de mayan ba ji ta china sa de me ba den de ke za ji ran jing a zo den de che kom na na
Die na di tanti kar. Di
las ta nyen de pe na da nga zo pe na me do pe man den de jin ta nam ju me do pe man de ta ka pe na nge pe da nyen de nam ju den de jin ma yor wala 다 다다야 배담 녀인데 메도 빼만아 신신에 야요 바 되게 되네 지말라 당아서 빼마다 다베게 간라 되네 아주 자빌라마데 다 총강서 춘춘제 된데 빼 오다 어저제 바된데 춘춘제 검나나 다테 텔라믹 바테 된데 지나라
But just to mention the four empowerments, just in brief. How we visualize. So when we wish to make offerings to the Lama, and also when we visualize the Lama to receive an empowerment and to receive his blessings, then we visualize the Lama, the Guru, at our crown. And then think that from that Guru, light rays radiate and they enter your crown, and as they enter your crown, they purify the obscurations of the body. Then they go to the throat and purify obscurations of the speech. And then they go to your heart and purify the obscurations of the mind. And then go to the navel, where they purify all the remaining obscurations of the three poisons together. And then you think, now my body, speech, and mind has become inseparable from the Guru's body, speech, and mind. And then rest in a meditative state of this awareness. And through that, innate wisdom may emerge. And then at other times, for example, when you're eating, you can visualize the Guru. You can visualize either in front and making offerings or at the throat. Or when you are lying down or sleeping, you can visualize at the heart, or if you wish to realize Mahamudra or Dzogchen, you visualize the Guru at the heart. And so it's not the physical heart of flesh, but so the way you visualize the Guru at the heart is that normally, so the heart center is kind of like a lotus bud, kind of facing downward. But now when you think of the Guru there, you can think that it's turning upward. And so it's a kind of raising the heart, not the physical, but like the energy heart is raised, and the Guru is inside there and is luminous inside of your heart. And then just think that this light pervades you.
라서 다 지데 다다당 흔로게 단도 티세가 다 간데 가랑 가요 지원데 근데 제 쉐바인다 지난 발라 투펜스에는 지다 하고마선 되는 게레와라 지난 바 가데 뜻소 겁나야 되네 된데게 ngondro 냠린라 베소나야게 된데 레바요스 지단 참링한 디iten기도 답변나 맞아 대소연긴 참바다다 레트로바단지 대소연긴 제는다다 ngondro 대소 참 차산지 지난지 대소 참아지 장가사지 따다지 난고요와 ngaranzo penata chijakala jungi nareta tinsanga to solo machama thewage tindeke ranjin sondu tineche ngondro nyamle nayala hachan depa yowa tindeche na ngaran samre tingen tindeche teyung to penata tinde shunan dege meng ta nga ha ko ma so te ngaran ke samsore pena hachan ke thewa chimbo yo pa nyamle hachan nayan depa enjo chena pena ta nga so 다 빼나 먼저 차 빼나 차 잠도 찌찌데 티수페 렘보지라 고마 거치제네 잠도다 차데 빼나 딘타니다오 지라다 소소 하고니라다 차세 잠도 사지네 야보지 냠리 소소게 티수 하고니라 호타바다지 냠리 지나 야사니마 뱀발라 티소여와 양 되게 졸레 딘타니라 빼나 양아 저게 이잔도 지나 소소 하고라 호타바다지네 냠리나 안 대졸라다 양 되게 되네 제네 양 자샤요 말하다 빼나 난 산조도서 니마 따파레신 고라자네 삼보 쇼케 송고요라 참아 송네 되네야 대지라 다다 빼나 멘달 토데 가서 양 딘타니도 제 소소게 하고니라 투수라데 자벤바니마 dom베게 아니 멘다데 호타파타 지네 소소 간세사 토데사 당아서 남주 카바다 근데 엔데징게 냄지도와 투수나나 사지면도 삼자야 장가데 노도도와 고추자로와 되네 가서 장가사 산조데 소소게 다게 노티스 볼든데 야보든데 나나 장가사 찬조데 지지네 야보진 데데고 고랑아서 로직이 나나고 콜라도 로야데 요마르와서서 나래 야보지잖아 심마도 다 엔냄제단데서 카파타서 시라템포체면도 근데지 나나 되네야 라마코지데 데데지도네 고 메다데 로직이 나나다 가서 문로데 로직이 난 찬도그래 되네야 니마 따파 이렇게 소소 디기다 문로데 가동 갭조데 소소게 무세나로 따파 데데지 꼬라잡네 송데네 니마지라 문로 차산 찬도그래 ngondroke 참마게 냠네데야 소소 참마 지야제 고갑제 요래 찌지난데 바제 찌지나 근데 나나제 간데다오제 요나 신앙에 타제 근데 제고를 쓰슈게메 근데 나랑게 안 참자 삼노 근데 제 티수 하자 메바 냠네 하자 나얀데 바 인주제는 찌진 근데 나나야 라서 나땡이 다서 나랑 삼소제 슈바 참이스
So that was a brief instruction on the preliminaries on the Ngondro, and of course I'm not sure if I was able to explain it very clearly, but maybe some people got a bit annoyed. I'm not sure, but at least I hope that you will still make an effort in the Ngondro practice if you have the time. And just one thing comes to mind as something that I think about sometimes. So there are retreatants and those who just have the time to do the complete Ngondro and all the accumulations, and of course they should do it in that way. But on the other hand, in the West, especially nowadays, everyone is busy. And still, even though we are so busy, some people really want to do the Ngondro. It's just they almost have no time. And so this is what I think sometimes, and I'm not sure if this is something I'm even supposed to say or should say, but anyways, here you go. So this is what I think sometimes. What you could do is you just dedicate your weekends to a section of the practice, and then you rotate. So you do your one Saturday and Sunday, you focus on your refuge and you do the prostrations and together with all the recitations and so on. So not just the prostration, you do the whole thing. And then the next weekend, you focus on the 100-syllable mantra and then the mandala and then the guru yoga. And so you keep doing it that way. So even if you do not always have the time to practice, you take your weekends when you're off and then you give it your best. You diligently do whichever section you're on, and you just keep taking turns like that. And then also, you want to keep a count of your numbers. And so nowadays people like to use their smartphones to do everything for them. But actually it's not maybe not the best idea to use your phone to keep the count, because it's also a phone is an electronic device and that's unreliable. Something can always break it or not work out. So I feel it's better if you keep a handwritten notebook to write down your numbers over the long term. Because it's you will keep going through this cycle over and over again. And so I think that this is maybe a good way to finish the Ngondro, and as you just keep going in that way, and one day you will find yourself with a completely finished Ngondro, and then even though you're so busy, you will have had the opportunity to complete all of it. So I'm not sure that no, I can't tell you that this is how you should do it, essentially. But sometimes that comes to my mind, and that might be useful for some people who really want to practice but don't have enough time. So that's just my own personal suggestion.
So that's the answer to so same so in a attack as a chin number to a catch him within the chuna, then a la la pe tila mina, then to a cashetti.
So we're actually already out of time, but if you have a very important pressing question, and we can quickly go over that.
Is there a difference in this?
I don't hear anything.
Oh. Is there a difference between the text that we've been working with this weekend versus the preliminary practice text?
Right. Which preliminary text do you mean? Is there another one?
There's another one. No.
Oh, okay. What's the difference between them? 디 단다 이게 디 단다 어서 페이지 단다와 디 단다 이게 말보 디 인원로 디니 개발 가려도
So they las dadan de deresha dadan also dada de kong ke te naya de also ngun dada de ke jina pambare dola dada jina pambas dada also dada ngaden dada also losum chusum ja sabe ki jila dada also ngaden ke ngadon te pe rimpo yorwala rimpo yudu tene dada also de ke dada jina pambar de da de ke tsena jina pamba sungura tena na da ngondo na debare tene yudame na nyamle deba yore tende da te also tese tap de on rawa da namju na nyamle nang de on rawa che yore tende samba da te mang par che wa nam te samba namba ke loson chosom ja sabe ke jisela tene dada ngaden ke ngondo ngadon tele tese rimpo yuza o te nyamle te pejo namju tangke yore tende te dang dada deni deda tsawe nyamle da khochi ku nyamle nanda chi pare de tsege te da chebar manyo da te se chebar je roasla
so the let's see so there's this fivefold path of Mahamudra practice, the stream of blessings, and the short practice, and so the path to enlightenment, and so the one is just longer than the other. So the one in the red sadhana, that is along the long version is the fivefold Patha Mahamudra version used in a retreat, like a 3-year retreat. So the retreatants use that longer sadhana during the retreat, but then when they are done with the retreat, then they shift to the shorter practice. It's the same, the content is the same. It's just everything is abbreviated, and so it's easier to do as a daily practice on an ongoing basis. So this is what most retreatants do. They do the long version of the text during the retreat, and when they're done with the retreat, then they move on to the shorter version for the regular practice. But the essence, the root of the practice is the same.
So that Ngondro China Medrichi or Maris did the Bioris Dinana, Medando than the desire to take Yebayo Marimutaya, Digana China and Tegeris and Arandro Samsung at the Sutuntomato, Samsung Mare visit that Tela you the Casala, Maranga, Samsung in Dipati Dungu, then at the Suyu to Casalanda, Losum Chisong into Yata, and so Carena, Ngondro and Are Sama Jepate, the Suyu Dungu, I am the Sum in the Dipati Dungu, then the Tigan Jan and take those Medrichi or Telepia Poyo Dipati, then that's how much it pares.
And if you want to do the Ngondro based on this longer text, that's also totally fine. It's longer. And you can also interchange them, and that's what I personally do. So sometimes if I'm very busy and I don't have a lot of time, then I just do the short version. But if I do have the time, then I come back to the 3-year retreat version and do the longer version. So you can use both, that's fine. But you can also use the longer one if you want to use that as a basis for your Ngondro.
Oh, no, say.
Page 40.
So, Nangala Dilla, you say, Kongi that so de Mendaki that de Budan that de Chigdwala. Then de Kongi Kares, then the Shishi Chirochi, then the Songodos, then de da, and de Titanke, Nazo, that Chang as on YouTube, Menda Buding as on the Dechi Nanguala, Tangazo. 당아서 팀한 데데지는 단남 중앙서 맨단 데데지 난교래 당아서 사지 베지수기 메도다 라랭지 데제반데선 다당아서 데 맨다 드바로와 다다다 맨다 듬바데레 텐두다 디게 된다텔라 다가서는 아서 맨다 듬바데 맨다다 제바데 당아서 그 참상나 당아서 쳐바다 데는 베아드수 메드 드바데 부고로 다다다 디게 라바데는 제바다 다다데나 르모나네 요바데 맨다 듬바데레스 사지 베지수기 메도다 라랭지 데제반데 산제신데 메데보 조게 남다신데 제발쇼 선데 메다 듬바데레 근데 지다 메다 데라 숨지 소든다 메다 니히자 솜다 데네 다다 메다 다다데 듬바제레 나하무 에나 다다데게 지단 드공기 로글라이나 메다 듬바데 인사레 데네 다다 페나 제다니 쳔보게 다다 제종가바게 다다 공기 또 갈라 메다 푸 데네 셰바데 데 가즈나 다다가서 사완 드베게 나로라 다데 다다 메다 니히자 솜 보야데 송요레 데인도 공기 다다 또 갈라 메다 푸 소사 드바자야데 다다 메다 니히자 솜데 간레 데네 지솔라 다다 사잔 정우 추준 파바게 팸네 데네 되게 지슬라 데네 다다 보 간징게 종라 메다 숨지 섭된 보야 데네 보 다다다가서 다 사자다 게로다 페나 다다 가주 니마 참아 라지저 차스 말에 다다 숨지 섭된 보야 데 메다 다다 둔데 데네 다다가서 사제 간인 참아라 남주 쳐바다데 게다가서 메다데 제바데 데게 빌로메 바시고다 간다시고레 사야라서 바데 가서 다다다가서 전부 둔바데 분한 거레스 그래서
Drikung Papa la Pepkare, did
롱구 취재 사자 롱구 취재 봐봐
Tikare.
데코 건데다다 멘다 섭드는데
So,
담보 공개다 코네 존데 데네다다 보 간지게 존 멘다 섭드마데 지겨 차선 바라발라
di kung lama di suri
사자베게 사자반
sakya pandi darwe
산자 밴드데 말에 사자
sakya
주제 봐봐 주제 봐봐 yes
yeah. So when we offer the mandala, the short mandala, this is the mudra where we put the mala around our fingers like this, and so we use this mudra mainly for the short mandala offering, and when we don't have any other offering materials, then we make this mudra instead. And aside from that, there are different like levels of mandala offering. There is the 37-fold, there is the 21-fold, and there's the 7-fold mandala offering. And so in the old days, in the Drikung lineage, they would use the 7-fold mandala offering. And then at the time of Tsongkhapa, when he offered the mandala on a flat rock to accumulate merit and purify obscurations, he used the 21-fold at that time from the Guya Samaja. And then when later when the Sakya and the Drikung traditions came together, then the 37-fold was introduced, and then so all the lineages now, the Sakya, Gelugpa, Kagyu, and Nyingma, they all are now using the 37-fold mandala offering.
나서 다다다가 내게 콘라 슈디 다다 베가나 만든 바데 조서라 지단데리도 다다가서 레게 잡고 랩 지데네 되게 가나 다다가서 초시 데네 다다가서 렌시데 나 지데제 데네 다다가서 되게 가나 니마다 다와지베게 든데리도 알아티바데
Yeah, so those the 7-fold mandala offering consists of Mount Meru, the king of mountains, and then the 4 continents in the 4 directions, and the sun and the moon.
나서 도시시나
How often should we clean the mandala that isn't used today?
나서
Yeah.
How often should we clean the mandala that isn't used daily, that's kept on the altar?
Nima takpa peche matangna mandra tini changma khatse zoguri.
간테서나
Mandra chidwa ti nima takpa kisi peche matangna rwa taka shashana tini changma khatse zoguri. Pena tawa rere ti changma zoguri be yana tundra rere.
나서 다 가서 뒤진 지단게 메다 사비가서 마이나다 가서 전화다 다 가서 니마레레게 서서 티마레레 푸다나 빼아보라 데메나 든타레레나 데메나 다와레레 든데게 다 가세 쟁아서 짜마서 가세 푸다나 야야레 생아서 대수 전화
So there's not a certain timing for cleaning the mandala, and it's not just for the mandala, it's about all the offerings. We should clean them as much as we can. So if you can, ideally you would actually make it new every day. You would clean it every day. But if that's too much, you can also do it once a week, or you can do it once a month, whatever works. But like the more you can clean it, the better.
라카나나 든데지네 라카나 든데지 가서 난 탐나다 빼아보라 가서 서서 조사나 살아라 해라서 맞아
You explain the display mandala, the guru Iran part, because I got a little confused. The 5.
라서 라서 땅에 Dangi konam bala drip menda se shibare ta menda de la chita chep menda de drip menda ni yore se so ba shuen ba de de samba ta drip menda se ya tenga chu ta menda sa ngi je na tampo go zo ne ta menda chama sa ma sa pa de la ta de ka se nga so so kon jo som ge tin de ne pe na ta da da nga cho chi ma de lama je de ne de de ye dam de ne da da nga cho tomba de ne da da jap de tampe chu po de tene yonde tene dadanga zo papu gendu dadanga zo choje na yin dela dadanga zo gasina menda ka zo nge choje gwanggur sum ba da de gasina choje ge chabre da nga zo menda phusu ge tin ri da nga zo ge de number de ge ko chabre da la so
Mm, So there we have two mandalas for our mandala offering, and so one is the accomplishment mandala, and one is the offering mandala, and so at the accomplishment mandala is the one that you place in front of you, and that's the one that represents the entire refuge tree. And so and that stays there. That stays there until you have completed all your mandala recitations. And so you place that in front of you, and it basically is the same as your refuge tree. So you have it represents the three jewels. So the lama is in the center, and then you have the yidams before you, and the Buddhas on the right side, and the Sangha on the left side, and the Dharma is behind. And so the entire refuge tree, just like in the image of the refuge tree, is in the mandala. So essentially you see that mandala as the representation of the refuge tree.
la so
Hi, Khenmo. I had just a quick question for you. We've been going over back and forth with the Blue Book, and also our regular sadhana that we've been mainly focusing on, right? Could you speak a little bit about Dharma Kirti's refuge prayer from the Blue Book in comparison to the sadhana, which I believe it's a short refuge prayer, right? From a historical standpoint, when is the short refuge used? And it's probably based on timing and in order to make it easier for lay practitioners. But could you speak a little bit about the difference between both? And
So one is what? So one is, can you just say, I'm not sure which ones you mean. One is Dharma Kirtis from the Blue Prayer Book, and the other one?
dada de ge dada jamane ne dada dribon
Oh, okay.
ala te ta
Yeah.
te ke dada nga den tama ko te ke shalong ke ngondro ke jeja che che ne tini so ta ko na ba tab de o sin jo re do la ta te ta nga so Arizona ne dada de ro che dada dan che na be ke dada ta tama ko te shalong ta tu be ke tini so che na sha barwa de ni be cha pe te ni to ne twa in sare la twa te
Die nang die nang ta nga ti ko shola ka khara la ka dok nga ha ko men dok yena yan ti nang la yige ti ni nang la teni gyamdo tengin mandaba yusa re chiti tama ke diri chik shamba chiri teni ti ni keba khare dos teni logi gituna teni keba khare dos teni chik khat dengori shamba te khat dengori.
라서 지단계 딘데 제레샤 다당아서 네게 다 문로데 중공로 오시나 다당아서 드gon로라 다다데게 나딘게 다다 문로 요로 다다 나딘 담아치 쿠드서는 데게 다아서 문로데게 다다데 다 되게 나니 저 드드 제네 다다다 제샹조 지레샤다 델레지단 뜻 림포로 대야서 답디오 지는 코나바게다 카시 다나게 랑게 츠야 지네 답디오 수샹자 딘데 지레샤 안티나나 지단 제시단 테 코나바게 다지 뜻 카세르지 카세르즈 답데르즈 지네 딘데 지 야포지도스 테 디나레 요베게 잠로로 지나 다다 nga den dama ko de na na yebe ke chamro de da nga zo jikpa re sha den do chamro ke tsik de de se rin bo da che za we ke chanin da pe cha ni ja de da ngondro nga den ko ngondro ke den de ke chape yin sa ngondro ke da pe cha yin sa jikpa re de chamro jikpa re ko tsik de se ma nyong ke chanin de tsik ma do ane de na de na lo le chamro da tsik ji jikpo ji do as den de se sa gong kin ji na da changka sa ni den de ke da chamro ji na ke na 데데스 답 대화라고지 용그 미나삼사 데데스 색 다 뉴뇽라고지 도와 안에 된다게 차니 다다다 잠드 초진 고미아레 데네 다다 삼노 타야레 참아 찍바레 다 아주 네 고니 슈바나지리 찌스 찔라 다다 마뇽 다 제도 제바리마도 된다 찍바레 샤데 데긴 문도도나 다다 가진 버치에게 데네 공게 다다 저다 nga den ki ngundo de so du jine ta tap de wol jine nga ran so lo ma so nyam le de be ki che de de zu na sha ba de je do was den do ta nga ran so ka se ngundo nyam le na ke na de so so ke ka re de so so la tap de wa do se de ne de jine so so na na de ge se ta pe cha nga so de so ma nyo re de de cha ne che pa ke yo ma res
So one, essentially they are the same, but one, the one in the blue book has its original in the Maketi's five-fold path of Mahamudra Ngondro, and actually this one here is a shorter version from the actually much longer original. The original is actually quite long, but so it has been abbreviated in that book. And just to make it easier and better understandable and easier to practice. But both versions really are the same. The Dharmakirti's version, so what we have in the blue book and in the orange book, is essentially the same. And maybe there is a difference in length. One is longer than the other, but at the root they are the same, and they are both belong to the five-fold Mahamudra Ngondro. It's just the one in the blue book is a bit longer, and then in the orange book is shorter and easier for practice. And this is because Gachin Rinpoche wanted to compile it in a more simple way for practice. It's still the same thing. He just put it in a format that makes it easier to practice for practitioners. But it's really actually the same thing. It's just one has more words than the other, and so because they are essentially the same, you can use whichever one works best for you because the meaning is exactly the same.
den de ta ka se nga den rang ke ngro ga kan ne den de che ko na nga so de ngro de cha pe de yo ren de la de tin na chi dan da in chi da be ni cha yo re den so so ke ka se ngone ngro nyam le na ke na nang ko gong ke na ko so so dam ga yo re den de sam pa chi dan ke an chi na ba den de gong ke yo na shuen den ta ti twa de chong sa so je che na
So if you really want to practice the five-fold paths of Mahamudra Ngondro, then I recommend this particular Ngondro text here that has both the English and the Tibetan actually, but you can choose whichever one you prefer.
Without di lasciando invece di te noi di dando di fai grandi stessi non scia giù per de ci baci cianciani e le cimini da tonia
re ta chi dan ke da nga zo da re tu chi ting shu ko sam da dan de ke chi dan nga zo da tren ke nyam le na ya da che na ba shu ya de ga ne shu go re ya de pe cha de kan de sin de teng ke na sam ba da ka la ko re ta sam no ya chi khor si pa re ro de chi de sam nge ta na shu pa ne nge ke de ke pe cha de chung ga na ne cho ki ne pe la sha sha ba de ka re jim sing nge ka re sin na de ke na lo la jamro ke da nga zo kap sen raw che na an da na jamro ke pheyon da de nga zo pe na nga ran so ke da nga zo cha 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 ge re nga zo la pa ni da ka pung te chama da pe na the pa ji pung de ke kang pa ni ji la pa chama sa le yin la nga de sa le zu ge re wa de jim chin ka re yin ba pheyon ka re yo ba da pe na nga zo ke la pa so mo nga de da nga zo pe na da yamngata yomngata ni tata dede ta pena dede ke tongpa tena tongpa nyeke ta labshimpa tende jawa ta tapshi nyeke ta nga tsu tenda mambo che yorwa ta nga tsu teso me tsa re re kala shoma ko wishine tene sama tina la pongna pa ta tap dewo sino tenda sama tela tresha ta tendu treshe nge tesine mesi jab ko mido tende so so lo we na ko dewo do samsin tene nyine kare ensina tata deke nalo la menda ke na 담보네 멘다데 가지는 푸사디 안데 진의 카고르마 고비시네 아니 다다데게 멘다게 샤르데 담보 코라네 야 최베게 드베게 초라든데 진의 코샤도와 땅 아주 디나라 다다 멘다게 다다다지 멘다게 데도에나 대양 아주 데 가서 멘다데서 다다 샤르데 소송을 거와다 데네 찍디 샤르데 파심방을 거 되게 제바데서도 대양 데 니자라 징케제나 야 데서 파서 go to ya ke ni ka do sam jin de ngin de chin ba la tin ya jim sin de yin la so tho ji che ta de pang po ro cha sa
So because I thought you maybe you're wondering how to do the practice, that's why this morning I put this text over there, those books that so you can read them, and that these books really there's really everything in there about the benefits. It explains the benefits of refuge, the meaning of the mudras, how we do prostration and what it means that we place our 5 points on the ground. So we place our 2 hands, our 2 knees, and the forehead on the ground when we prostrate. What does that mean? And what's the benefit of that? And when we make mudras with our hands, the 5 fingers represent the 5 Buddhas and the 5 consorts, and the spaces in between is emptiness, and the union is method and wisdom, and so on. There is so much explained in those books, and there is just no time to talk about each one of them. But that's why they have made this really clear diagram in those books, and you can just read it, and it would be easy to understand and very clear. And also something I mentioned before about when you offer the mandala. So when a mandala is offered, normally the east and then direction faces toward the mandala you're offering toward, so the accomplishment mandala. And then in one version of the explanation, it says that at the end you're turning it around, and then in another version you're not turning it around. So that this could be confusing, and so something to be mindful of.
데 야 찍de 가래도 시슈에는 야 니마 다와니 데 제바도 아저는 남주에는 다 니마 데다 베나샤 로다 넘니게 바로를 니마 송그라 데인데다
Kada pala ni mare?
다당 아저 샤르 데 소소 촐로 요바 차잖아 샤르로라 샤르로 노브라다 노다 로다 넘니게 바라 남주에는 니마 데네 다와 송그라 데인데 삼발라 샤르로 노 데네 페나야 nobdan shani ki parola dawa sungurwa dawa jagre pena shar peka su konda dada nyema dawa sungurwa dada degi nala pena dada da pena nyema dendela do dawa dendela jadwa dende dea des paso korcho ke dada jacho ke des cheba do daden han samsan des hatisola kande jena there was gongsi pares da peri de dende tön shayura dendu han chabin cham samala zingi jena ya sama des samsan go tumyan ro do o desine laso
So then also in terms of the positioning of the sun and the moon, so depending on now how you look at the mandala, so when you look at the diagram and then you look at your mandala, it could be confusing to know like where exactly is it left or is it right, and left and right from which perspective. So now if east faces toward you, and then the sun is on your right between south and west, and the moon is on your left between west and east. So that is from your perspective and not from the onlooker's perspective. And so when you look at the diagram, you're the onlooker, not your own perspective. And so because of that, because by just looking at a diagram, and it may be a bit confusing to decide like where is which direction.
laso Da pachi drat is tamare laso toji chena da ko number sama da nima ni na to number sama je ngondro lo to na drat na sama pe mi se be to na da nyam le ya bu na so ten de pe mi se be ka wa chong song ten de toji che te da na jin ke te ne ena la pe mi se be da te so to na ne ten de che ne charo na pe mi se be ka ten che na toji che.
So I would just like to thank you all for those 2 days of Ngondro teachings. I'm very happy that you came and that you showed such interest in the practice and then also that you're really doing good practice. Very happy about that, and also thank you for Ina for making the time to translate.
Toji che na ka ten che.
Okay. Thank you.
So could you give that much again?